Testing, testing. Oh. Yay. Hey everybody, Happy New Year. Thank you guys for coming to our January training. I just wanted to make a couple of announcements. I'm Holly Painter, the president of ITS Georgia, if you don't know who I am. So first announcement is actually for ITE, which is not this organization, but we love them. February 19th, they're doing a soft skills training at the Marietta campus, KSU. So just keep that in mind if you want to do that for soft skills, resume, etc. We'll be blasting that out through ITS Georgia. Our next monthly meeting is Gwinnett County focused. It's in Gwinnett County, not at the Signal Shop. It's going to be February 25th with a couple of our Gwinnett County speakers. That blast and registration will open after this meeting. Just a reminder, the ITS Southeast Summit, this is our partners around the Southeast. It's going to be ITS Georgia, Tennessee, the Carolinas, Grits, and Florida is putting on the Southeast Summit, and that's March 22nd through the 25th. Registration is open now, and just a reminder that the room blocks are filling up. You have to register in order to get the room blocks. But you can reach out to us if you have any questions on that. There's a bunch of us on the board that are on the committees for that one. There is a social today at the Cultivation Brewery in Norcross. If you guys want to come have a drink after the training, I think the first couple of drinks are free. If they're not, then they are now. So come get a drink with us. That's in Norcross. And if you guys, you can come and see me or any of the board members if you guys need the address for that. Nominations for the board next year, as well as awards, we're actually just going to open that up in February. So if you guys have any ideas of who you want on the board or any of the awards you want to nominate, please be thinking of it. We have about 6 or 7 directors rolling off next year, so the board is going to be wide open for the director positions. If any of you want to volunteer on committees or any of the STEM stuff coming up, let us know. Gwinnett Science Fair is happening February 27th. The registration is out for that right now. And then also ACEC Introduce a Girl to Engineering is going to be March 21st. I think that's it. Mary, do you want to do legislative update? And then that's going to be me. Well, actually, I'm going to introduce our sponsor.
Thanks, everyone. Just a quick update on the legislative session it's in session right now. A couple big announcements. As far as the Governor Kemp pushed kind of his agenda of here's some of the big things as far as our industry. Did want to allocate $2.35 billion for infrastructure and transportation funding. That includes funding for things like the express lanes, for improvements to 316 out there. So some big transportation things that the legislation is going to be voting on. Another thing that basically what we're trying to push through is quality-based services. That was something that we got through on the legislative to like an extent last year, but it didn't pass. So that's back on the docket this year. So just those are the big highlights to look out for.
Perfect. Thank you, Mary. And big thank you to our sponsor, MRG Media Relations Group. They are a Florida-based firm, and Alicia couldn't be here today. Unfortunately, she has someone in her family is ill, so she stayed home. Family comes first for everybody. So MRG, our public engagement, KCI uses them a lot in Florida, so they do a really good job. And honestly, their most important message to all of you guys is the work that you do is the most important thing, and they want to sell that and be the public engagement firm for you guys. So up here, you have all of the people who work there. Kavan is actually here today. There he is. Hi, Kavan. Thank you. And you're in Athens, right? Okay, so Kavan is the Georgia MRG resident. But if you guys have any questions for Alicia, Kavan, they do specialize in ITS and TSMO projects and public engagement. So they are really heavy in the ITS Florida network and coming up here to Georgia. So they are a double sponsor. They were our sponsor last month and this month. But their role is to translate technical systems into clear, assembled messaging that helps public understand the value of the work and support DOTs and their consultant partners in advancing mobility and safety goals. They do public awareness campaigns, TSM&O messaging, stakeholder coordinating, and media relations. They do very organic public engagement. That's the one thing we like about using them personally with KCI. But they do the public involvement in Florida, scalable to Georgia. It's all very translatable within the states. I'm not going to read all that because I will just be reading it, but I will send these slides out to everybody at the end, and I think that will be the most appropriate way to do this. But they are here to support ITS Story in Georgia. If you guys have any questions, please reach out to Alicia Gonzalez. Her information is here, but they want to work together to support ITS and TSM&O education in Georgia. But big thank you for MRG for being our sponsor this month. And I think with that, I'm going to have Kate come up here to introduce our training speaker. I don't know if you need that.
I don't have any slides.
Perfect. Okay. Just bring that back.
All right, I'm also going to do a membership update. So our early bird memberships end on January 31st. If your company was not listed in the registration link as a member, it means you haven't paid your dues yet. So prompt whoever I've been sending emails to go pay your membership for this year so you can get member rates. All right, I hope you're ready to meet me at the intersection of human behavior and business impact. Today's speaker, Skot Waldron, will leave you thinking differently about your leadership brand, communication, and the way we connect. With over 2 decades of experience working with global brands like JP Morgan Chase, CDC, PGA Tour, Sesame Workshop, is that Sesame Street? Oh, that's cool. The Home Depot and Coca-Cola, Skot has become a trusted guide for leaders who want to elevate their teams and transform their cultures. And yes, because he's worked with Sesame Workshop, you need him to explain communication in terms of cookies and Muppets. He can do that too. He's the author of the Amazon bestseller Unlocked, a 52-week guide for international leader, which we've got some over here. If you're interested in his book, it's $5 off of the $15 price tag that you'll find on Amazon. He's also got a globally acclaimed podcast, Unlocked with Skot Waldron. Skot is known for bringing clarity to the chaos and delivering strategies that actually work. If you're ready to unlock your potential and maybe even laugh once or twice along the way, join us in welcoming Skot Waldron.
Thank you. Go for it. You got it. Hi, everybody. Is this thing working? Now it's on. Okay. Hi, everybody. Thanks for coming to hang out with me this afternoon. I do not take that for granted. There's a ton of other stuff you could be doing right now, and you chose to be here. Yeah, you're getting some CE credits, but you also get to hang out with me, which is fun, and I get to hang out with you, which is also fun. So thank you for doing that. I appreciate that. We're gonna talk about a few things this afternoon, and I'm gonna say this. It would be a shame if you walked out of this room this afternoon the same as you walked in today, okay? I want to give you some aha moments, some things to think about, some ways to challenge the way you think about your own leadership style and your brand, the way your brand is, what people say about you when you're not around. That's what your brand is. And we want to shape that well. We want to shape that perception of us. And because what happens when we have a good brand impression? What happens when we have a strong leadership brand? What kinds of things can we do? What happens? People reach out to us. Why, though? Because they trust us. What else? Opportunities. Why? So people like you, they want to work with you, right? They want to be around you. Have y'all ever worked with anybody that you're like, I do not like working with this person? If they're sitting next to you, don't say. You know that person, especially you back there. So that's because they have a poor brand impression. You have a bad brand impression of that person. Like, I call it your brand account. We make deposits or withdrawals from our brand account every day. Every interaction we make, we're making deposits or withdrawals from our brand account. And that person has made too many withdrawals from the brand account so that you're like, ugh, your brand account sucks. It's like way empty and like you're bankrupt and now you're like, it's not great. We want to make sure that brand account is full. And the way we're going to do that is shaping the way we communicate with each other. So that's what we're going to work on today. So number one, we're going to work on this thing called the 5 voices. Can you take one and pass it down? So I'm so fascinated. Do y'all work together?
We do, yeah.
That is fun.
At home.
I think it's fun. Is that fun?
It is.
Okay, good.
We're good at it.
There's a lot of
Okay.
We're better at it at
Let me
work
have one of
than
those.
home.
Yeah? Okay, good. Okay. All right.
Good at our jobs. We're less good at
At the whole marriage thing? Oh, that's funny.
Is that not what this is for?
No, this is totally what this is for. I will tell you, my clients, we talk probably 40% business and 60% personal life. Like, I mean, leadership is life, y'all. Leadership is life. So, who's heard of the 5 voices? Has anybody done anything with 5 voices before? No? Cool. Okay, good. I get to share it with you. So, the 5 voices is a personality assessment, for lack of better terms. Who's taken DISC? Is anybody taken DISC? Who's taken like Enneagram? Strength Finders? Yeah. MBTI, Myers-Briggs? God, you're like a junkie. You got like your personality assessment punch card, you know? Here you go. You get another one today. All right. So this one is based on Myers-Briggs science, the 5 voices. What we discovered was Myers-Briggs was a little bit complicated. It was like a little bit like, I'm a ISTJ, you're an ENFP. What does that mean? And how do I and so a lot of them say like, what number are you? What color are you? Which animal are you? And which superhero are you? And it became harder to like translate it into a culture because we believe that language creates culture. Okay? Language creates what? Culture. So if we can all speak the same language, that's going to help us communicate better. Yeah? It's like that in the world. If I can speak Italian and I go to China and they don't understand Italian and I'm speaking Italian, we probably can't communicate very well. But if I learn to speak Chinese to the Chinese, then we can learn to communicate better. So that's what we're trying to do, is learn to communicate better together. And so the 5 voices is a way that we're going to do that. Now, who in here is like loves planting things? Who in here loves planting things and killing things? Yeah? Okay, good. Yeah, that's it. I love planting things. I don't love taking care of them. Or I don't have time for taking care of them. So, plants. We buy these plants with good intention. We mean to put them in the ground and see them flourish and grow and do all the things that plants do, yeah? Like, that's what we hope happens for these plants. What do they come with to help us do that? These things, these little cards. And they tell us everything. They tell us like what soil and how far to plant them apart and what kind of water they need and how often and what kind of sunlight they need. And yet they still die. And then but this is like leadership, okay? We bring people into our teams. We start working with these individuals and we are missing these cards. But what if we had these cards? What if we had these cards for people? And we're like, oh, that's what kind of communication you like. And that's how you like to work. And that's what I can do to help you grow better. But what happens as leaders and as team members is, the plants die. And then we go, just can't find good plants these days. That's our mindset. We just go, I don't know. I mean, the plant just died. I didn't, did I water it correctly? I don't know. I threw the card away. I didn't really even care about the card. And then I'm wondering why the plant died. Well, the plant died because I didn't pay attention to how to help the plant grow. And so if we can do that as team members and leaders, we will thrive. Our companies will thrive, our teams will thrive, and we will be more productive and enjoy the places we work. Wouldn't that be cool if we enjoyed where we worked and also the company did awesome? that would be great. Yeah, I think that'd be great. So what we're going to do is we're going to walk through the voices, and we're going to do a little assessment together. Y'all are going to talk together and communicate and have some fun. And then after this session, we're going to do a little session on, I'm just going to say procrastination, okay? Who in here thinks they're a chronic procrastinator? Yeah? Some of you are like, I don't know. Maybe? Yeah, I feel shame. I don't know. I don't want. So there's that. And then we're going to talk about influence at the end, okay? We'll talk about influence later. So the 5 voices, I'm going to go through this. I'm not going to do this right now. But assumptions. I want you to take these into account as you're doing this assessment, okay? First of all, your voice is made up of all 5 voices. You're not one or another. You're not one at home and one at work. You are the same voice no matter where you are. You just manifest that voice differently maybe at home and at work, depending on the task and depending on who you're interacting with and what's needed. So that. Some voices are more natural than others. So you're going to have a tendency to be really good at some voices and not really good at other voices. But you can access those voices you're not too good at. It's just harder. You get drained easier. It's just a little bit more taxing on your brain. Maturity allows the value and contribution of each voice brings. So mature in that voice. Are you healthy with that voice? Or are you unhealthy with that voice? Every single one of these voices can be unhealthy, and every single one of these voices can be healthy. It just depends on how you manifest it. Nature, nurture, choice all play a part. We'll get to that in a second. Don't assume you know what somebody else's fundamental voice is. You're going to do it anyway, but I'm just saying. Sometimes it can get you in trouble. Don't assume you know what each word means. So if I call you a nurturer, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're really going to be good at like caring for children at home. Like that's not what it means. All right. We're giving labels to these words, and it's just the way that your style kind of resonates and how you show up in the world. Okay. Cool. We good with this? All right. So nature, nurture, choice. Nature is our DNA. It's just how our makeup is. Nurture is how we're raised, by our friends, family, coaches, mentors, teachers, whatever happens in our lives, and then the choices we make. Do we end up going into the military? What job profession do we take on? Do we get divorced or not? How many children do we have? Like, there's all the choices we make also shape how we communicate with each other. Anybody have a guess on which one plays the biggest part in how you communicate? Choice? No. Nurture. So really a lot of social psychology, behavioral psychologists debate between the nature-nurture thing. They just kind of cop out and say 50-50. This is Scott's brilliant wisdom. And the way I've seen through my clients through all the years is that nurture really ends up trumping the nature part of things, okay? Nature plays a big part. It lays the foundation for everything, and that's what 5 Voices does, and that's what Myers-Briggs science does, is really gets to the nature part. So I want you to be aware of this. The reason I bring it up is because a lot of you are going to choose certain preferences or certain items on your assessment because that's the way you are at work. And that's the way you've learned to be through your upbringing and through learning what works and what doesn't, okay? So some of you are like, I've learned to speak up because I noticed when I was a kid that I didn't really get what I wanted if I didn't speak up. Or I grew up in a household of 8 kids and I had to speak up. Even though that wasn't my nature, I learned to do that. So I'm an extrovert. And I'm like, I don't know. Like, your nature is you're introverted. You've learned to be an extrovert through life. I want you to go to the nature part. I want you to evaluate the nature. So I want you to think about like your, 25-year-old self, okay? When you're kind of still like young and dumb and didn't really know too much yet about the real world, right? You're just getting into it thinking you're an invincible. Nobody's 25 in here, right? I'm not calling you dumb. Dang it! Oh no, you're super smart. Y'all are super smart for being in here. Y'all are super smart. I wasn't doing this kind of stuff when I was 25, so props to y'all. All right. So y'all can think about yourselves right now. All right. Right now. All right, so that's kind of what I want you to be thinking about. When we're going through this, I'm going to give you some evaluation criteria as we go through this. So go ahead and open up to the nurturer slide. Now, as I'm going through each thing, I want you to, now listen closely, I want you to circle the ones that sound like you, I want you to X through the ones that are not like you, and I want you to put a dash next to the ones that are kind of like you. And we're going to kind of rate these green, yellow, red. But just do circle, dash, or an X. Understand? Okay. You wonder why I'm being so articulate. It's because people, don't know. They ask me questions over and over again. Okay, nature. The nurturers. These are the champions of people, relational harmony, and and the values. These are the people. Okay. All right. Nurturers. Intuitively they feel how an organization will react to a new idea. They're really good at reading the room and understanding the energy. And if people aren't, there's some tenseness in here. Like there's got a super people radar. They can understand that really well. Defend values. People always come before profit. Okay? When it comes down to the hard decisions, they're always going to choose the people over the profit piece of things. They function as relational oil inside teams and organizations. They want everything to be happy and smooth. Like when things are tense and things are they're like, can we all just get along? And they're like, Johnny, just chill. She probably meant this. And Janice, he probably meant that. And they're trying to mediate everything and make sure everybody's happy. Pragmatic realists, they're thinking, they're asking the question, hold up, y'all. They're pumping the brakes going, have you really thought about this? Have we really thought this through? How this is going to impact our stress management and the team and our time off and how. So they're thinking about all those things. They take genuine delight in the achievements of others. They love seeing pictures of your dog. They love seeing your pictures of your vacation last weekend. Other people are like, ugh, I don't care about your dog. I don't care about your vacation. Okay. Nurturers will love to see those things. So as long as you want to see their stuff too. Okay. They're natural team players. They really, really like to collaborate and have the team. They will make sure everybody at the table is heard. And they'll try to bring in everybody's opinion and input and make sure that you feel valued as a team member. Now, where do they undermine their influence? Sometimes they can become overly resistant to change and demonstrate passive-aggressive tendencies. So, yeah, they kind of slip in those comments sometimes, or they'll go behind you and kind of do things, and you're like, well, what was that, So they do that. And they rarely value the contribution they make. The nurturers will tend to be the quietest ones in the room. They tend to sit in the back. They want everybody else to shine. They will, let everybody speak first. They don't want the spotlight. You come up to a nurturer, and you're like, hey, great job. Everybody, let's get it. And they're like, oh, no. And they're all deflecting it. They're trying to say, no, you did. You're great. They try to push it back on you all the time. So so they kind of downplay their contribution at times. They don't want that spotlight. All right. So circle, dash, or X. Now, what I want you to do is I want you to look at those now where you rank. If you have all circles, then circle the green one at the top, the green dot. If you're half and half, mixed, circle the yellow. If you are oh, this is not me at all, X, 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 then circle the red. If you're 6 X's and 2 yellows, then you're probably red on this, right? So just kind of gauge it based on that criteria. So anybody have any questions about their thing? They're like, hey, Scott, I've got 14 yellows. I'm like, what assessment are you taking right now? So anybody have any questions about your thing? Okay, here's what I'd like you to do. You're going to rank them. Now I would like you to turn to your neighbor, find a neighbor. Greg, you can join these neighbors right here. And I want you to explain your color rating. Why did you choose that color? Now, I will say, y'all, you can vote I'm green with a little bit of yellow. I'm yellow with a little bit of red. You can mix them. I'll let you mix them. Or so where it's kind of on the line. Do not choose yellow for everything. Okay? Y'all, it will be hard at the end. We're going to rank them. And if you have yellow for everything, it's going to be a problem. So, sure. You can massage it. You can massage it. Sure. All right, so take a minute and share your color rating with others. If you're the one that talks a lot, you go last. All right? I don't, unless somebody wants to come up here and sit, But yeah, it's fine. Oh, yes. He's going to be standing up a long time. Okay, switch if you haven't yet. Switch. Okay, let's bring it back. 3, 2, 1. Welcome back, everybody. Hey, before we proceed, let's give it up for our online people, everybody. Clap, clap, real out. We miss you guys. Thanks for being here. Hardcore, yeah. Yep. Yes. Okay. And I will also, yeah. And I will try to repeat things too. If it's like some just quick comment, I will try to repeat things as well. But yeah, a 4-hour online workshop. Props, y'all. That's beastly right there. All right. Okay. So nurturers, who's like all green? Anybody? Farah? What's your name? George? Okay. Anybody else? Who is like, you're like one off? Okay, Gunner, right? Okay. Who's like absolutely not? I don't know these people really. I don't really like working with these people. I don't understand these people. Fairly close to having, you're fairly close to having no feelings?
I was the marriage moderator.
You were?
He doesn't know what emotions are.
No?
I said I waterfall into yellow.
You do?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. I've never heard that term, but okay. You got it, man.
That's a distance.
However you, oh, is it?
You can waterfall into other things, yes.
Oh, okay. Waterfalling isn't good?
No, it's good. It just means you can move over in the air.
Oh, okay. You're just justifying your lack of feelings. Yes.
What he's doing.
Yes, you water. Okay, cool. That's awesome. That's great. Okay, very cool. All right, tell me, Farah, what did you respond to? You know what? I am going to move some of these over just a little bit. Yeah. Okay. But sometimes I could just use the mic too. But I'll clear out a little path for myself. Farah, what did you resonate with? Yeah. Is your mic on?
Oh, I don't know. Yeah.
Is it green?
Yes.
Okay.
Is that talking loud enough?
There you go. There you go.
do look out for other people, try to
Mhm.
defend other people. But I don't know. Part of me was wondering is sometimes is that am I being too people pleasing with this?
Mm-hmm. So there is
So-
another personality type, the connector, that we'll get to that's
Okay.
also a people pleaser. That, I mean, I'm not going to say people pleaser like it's a bad thing. I'm just
Right.
going to say that they're very people oriented, and so
Yeah.
they really respond a lot to that energy
Mhm.
of people, and they want them to be happy and whatnot. So there is part of that.
Okay.
So good. Thanks for sharing that. George, what resonated with you?
Yeah, I just try to make sure, my team members are always having a good time, are happy. And yeah, sometimes I'll do work and be like, good job, everyone. They're like, you did the work. Good job, you. And I'll be like, oh, my bad.
That's amazing.
So,
It's like, what did we do so good? Oh yeah, sure. Like, oh, that's fantastic. I love that. That's so cool. All right, very good. Thank you. Okay. No feelings. What's your name? Brad.
Yes.
I'm just kidding. You have feelings. We know you do. What did not resonate with you so much on there?
You know, we were saying maybe nature is red and nurture is yellow because with so many people on my team, I need to be able to nurture.
Yeah.
And so I kind of push myself to do that.
It's called intentionality. Yeah, you got to be more intentional about that behavior. It's not easy for you. It's not naturally accessible for you, but when you can intentionally
Yeah.
do it, then it comes.
Yeah, like decisions we make that affect other people, I 100% go to how does this affect the team.
Mm.
So that's why I think I'm kind of in between here.
Okay. Yeah, you're floating a little bit there. Let's go through the rest, and then you can kind of whittle it down. Okay, cool. All right, y'all. Good times. Let's do this one. All right, so nurturers represent 43% of the population. It's the largest group of individuals. Okay, 43% of the population. Here on these slides, I want you to pay attention to what to watch out for. So this section here. Nurturers have a fear of conflict. They often won't speak out. We need to be aware of that silence. So especially when there are people speaking up and the nurturer kind of knows something or they're, but they may not speak up because they don't want to ruffle feathers. They, don't want to be critiqued in an open environment. They want to make sure that everybody else has a chance, and maybe their idea isn't that good, and they're like, oh no, your idea is fine. Let's just go with that. So they kind of defer to you about things. Now, how do we empower them? We let them speak first, affirm their competence, and genuinely value the contribution. So some people in here may roll your eyes at that comment. Like, ugh, do I really have to affirm this person's competence over and over again? It's something that, yes, we do. We need to make sure we bring it out of them, make sure that it feels safe to bring up ideas and to vocalize and to represent who they are well. All right? Sound good? All right, creatives. Future ideas people. It doesn't mean you're good at art. It's how your brain works. Organizational integrity, innovation, all big things. Okay, circle X or put a dash next to these. They're conceptual architects. They love to think outside the box. So the mold is stupid to creatives. They don't want to use the mold. They want to break the mold. They want to innovate. They want to push boundaries. They want to go outside the lines and color all they want, okay? They function as early warning radar system. So canary in the mine, right? They can go into the mine and know if there's danger or not and then come back out and tell you. They are often the people that say, I told y'all that was coming. And they're like, how did you know? And you're like, I don't know. I just knew. It was like a gut thing. I was just going to tell y'all. So there's that. They're never satisfied with the status quo. They believe things can always be better. So they are the most perfectionist voice. They have that perfectionist tendency with a lot of different things that they do. If the vision is compelling, the word can't is not in their vocabulary. They're always thinking of possibilities, how we can make this thing happen. They exhibit a strong social conscience for desire and desire for personal and organizational integrity. Now, I get it. We all love the word integrity. It's probably on all our values posters. I understand. But the creative, it's really drives their behavior. Making sure that we follow through with the things that we say we're going to follow through on. Like those types of things, it's really important to make sure that they can honor their word and that it's not going to come back and bite them. Now, challenges. They struggle with the fact that people never fully understand their ideas. The reason why, number one, is because they are so future-oriented. They're talking about things that people just don't, like, they can't touch it or feel it or understand what's going on out there yet. And so the creative may be thinking out-of-the-box solutions and ideas that people just like, they can't follow them. They're just all over the map. They kind of like go here, and then they're here, and then they're here, and then it's like all in here, and then when it comes out, it's like a jumbled mess. So all creatives are introverted. Some nurturers are introverted, some nurturers are extroverted. All creatives are introverted. Doesn't mean they don't like people. I'm a creative first voice. I can get on any stage, anywhere, and speak. I love public speaking. I love kind of talking to people. It's just when I'm done talking to you, I don't want to talk to anybody else for like a day. Like, I'm burnt out. Like, I can shut a networking event down. I will stay there all night, but then I'm toast afterwards. Like, it's very draining to me. Extroverts, they're like, hey, that was a cool networking event. Y'all want to go to the bar? You know, like, it's like continuous. They keep wanting to fuel the conversation and the fire. So introverts, because they're so introverted, they are pondering a lot up here. They're taking in information. They're soaking it all up. And then when they finally say the thing, it's not, people don't get it. They're like, I don't know what you're talking about. My wife often says, Scott, too many words. I don't know what you're talking about, right? And I'm just like, ugh, okay. And then I have to back it up, and I have to repeat it over and over again. Really good for a communication strategist, right? It's like, oh, okay. A guy isn't the perfect guy to teach y'all communication, the guy who doesn't communicate well? Isn't that awesome? So I think that there's a special gift there that the creatives have, and people can help them. I always say there's gold in them there hills. You just got to dig it out, okay? There's gold in there. We just got to dig it out of the creatives. Now, they often fail to celebrate the 90% because they're always focused on the 10% that didn't go so well. That lack of celebration is not great for teams. Because teams are like, oh, great, we just did this thing. And they're going, yeah, but how can we make that thing better so that then we can, okay, so what's the next thing we're going to work on? And then how can we, and you're just like, can we chill for a minute? Can we celebrate just for a minute, please? So there's that with the creatives. All right, so green, yellow, red. All right, y'all got it? Because I've been talking for like 20 minutes with my creative voice. All right, so go ahead and spark green, yellow, red, and now turn to your neighbor and talk about it. Are you?
But I'm trying to go back to nature, but that's my 25-year-old said that's surprisingly, that's been a little bit. So I'm now very confused with myself. I know. All of it. Because this is what I am with the current situation right now. I know, but if I go back to my 25-year-old self, they didn't call it doctors, but I still was an extrovert high school leader.
So extroverted, really?
You're the marriage moderator now.
Oh, totally.
Well, now I'm just confused with my life, Holly, or who I am as a person.
Make an appointment with my...
Yes. So
No,
we're into personal psychology.
No, so introversion is just about how you recharge. How do you like to recharge?
Ask him.
Do you like...
Nobody around it. You like to recharge like
Are you sure?
homework.
So, and that's what's interesting about your map. I've got fun though right now because I am not going to be able. I've got to go to my daughter's swim. I was like intro to the after.
Okay. And that's okay. Like, so extroversion is a spectrum, right? It's all a spectrum. And it's like, so I am an extroverted introvert. Like, I can, like I said, shut a networking event down. But I like to show up late. I don't like to show up early. I like to show up late. And if people come over to our house, like if I'm upstairs and like a friend comes over and my wife's like, oh, that's cool, come in inside. I'm like,
You're never satisfied with status quo. No.
But then once I get in, like you want to be be outside, because
If
you
the
don't want to
vision
be
is
inside,
compelling, the word can't,
surrounded by
no.
people. So like,
This one's an interesting
it
one.
is.
It is. Creatives are hard
And
to
so is
diagnose.
introvert and
I
extrovert.
like that one.
It changes as you get older because they do get tired. So they're
Yeah.
getting older. Like there is a point that
They often struggle with the fact that people never seem to fully
That
understand.
makes you tired of everything.
I don't struggle with that.
she's finally to an age where she's not in the bathroom.
Well, being internal perfectionist, they can fail at 90% and focus on the 10%.
Well,
It is hard on the nature
think
nurture.
about it.
telling us
It is hard.
I'm iffy on that. I'm iffy on that one.
It's definitely not my
Take it for what it is. Take it for what it is. And sometimes it takes
I'm gonna
me
say
like
red for me.
I have to repeat that 80-20 rule in my head all the time.
You're half and half. The sound is really low on mine, so I was back there trying to fix that.
cool. Well, I mean, I just love that people use them and use the one that works for them.
We use this to say, like, my entire team in this company are guys.
Such a
Really good. I just feel like
speak like
so
that.
I have to tell them when we speak to them the way they want.
I'm fine without a microphone. It's the microphone that makes me weird. I don't know why. See, I can sit here and yell at this whole room design. That makes
Feel certain ways after the fact that maybe outside you.
I don't know why.
Why do you make it the way you do? Where's the story? What's the
I've
root
always
of it?
been like that. Like, it's easy to work.
So it's really good. I love when you say work environment. My only thing, Jim, don't do
Yeah.
it's your thing.
I also that's my
General. Okay, everybody, bring it back. 3, 2, 1. All right. Creatives, green, all green. Who's like, oh yeah, this is all me all the time. Yes, ma'am.
So because you asked about this and you said they were introverted,
Mm-hmm.
and I got like straight greens.
Yeah.
But I'm definitely extroverted.
Okay, we were just talking about
Okay.
that over here. So you marked all greens.
Yes.
I said they were introverted, but you feel like you're very extroverted.
Yes.
Why do you think you're very extroverted? What about your personality or how you communicate is extroverted?
I'm just always like I like talking to people. I'm easy. Like I don't. When you think of like kind of people and energy drain and how much energy you get, I do get energy from people.
Okay, good.
And I can be around people for a long period. I do need my alone time, but it takes a long. I could be around people for, I think 10 days straight conferences type things, and I'm fine.
Yeah.
And
I
I'm
can actually answer that for her. Like, I don't
Okay,
know.
Mike.
yeah.
Mike.
I don't know Mary. Didn't know Mary, but I feel like I known Mary for a long time.
Yeah.
In just two
You are like
conversations with
Facebook
Mary.
friends now?
Yeah. So like, very extroverted.
Okay.
And I think part of that's also within this industry, which is interesting because I think I'm like among engineers, I'm definitely like I think anyone who's known me any bit of time would say that. But I have like, but I also do other fun stuff, and it's kind of interesting because like I took an improv class, and in that group, I'm the introverted one in that group, but which no one here would ever think that, right? So I think sometimes I've heard ambivert, and I think that's pretty accurate.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't consider myself an introvert, which is what just kind of struck me about that. But I've
And-
always been
and I was-
comfortable.
Winter? Is that okay? I was talking to Winter about this because she's having the same struggles, right? And
Okay,
so it is extroversion and introversion is about how you receive energy. So extroverts are solar powered. They receive their energy from the room, the environment. Introverts are battery powered. Like we recharge from the inside. And so you can think of it that way. Introverts, they like to recharge in ways that are more, I don't know, pondering. They like to observe and sit back, observe, take in all their environment. They can spend, a week in a cabin by themselves without any electronics and be totally cool with that. Like, it's fine. Extroverts are like, I need to talk to somebody, like, in a couple hours. Like, this whole cabin thing is driving me crazy. So there is a little bit of that. If you go on walks, introverts can totally go on walks by themselves and totally chill and be there and go on hikes and what. Extroverts, like, really love going on walks with people to recharge, okay? It's not about like I have to sit in a book with a hammock to recharge. I don't want anybody to think that that has to be your recharge. Recharge for extroverts is going to dinner with a friend, right? Is doing something where my wife, once she gets in the car, she's calling people. She's calling her sister. She's talking to people all day. It's kind of that energy. She's very extroverted. And I am like, I don't want to talk to anybody in my car ever. Like, don't call me. Don't talk to me. I want to be by myself, you know? So there is a little bit of that energy that can go too. So I want you to think about these as you're going through this. The connectors are very extroverted, but there is a connector creative that all of connectors have connector creative voice. So creative may be your second voice, y'all. So that may be something to think about too, okay? There are 16 different voice orders. So we'll massage that near the end. Does that make sense? Okay. Who is like not this at all? Who is not this creative voice at all? No? No? You're like, color in the damn lines, man. Yeah? Like the lines are there for a reason. Yeah? I get it. I get it. That's totally fine. That's totally fine. So let's go on to the next one. So creatives are 9% of the population, by the way, everybody, 9%. And we need to watch out for the fact that they struggle to communicate effectively. They have 9%. Yes, they have idealist, perfectionist tendencies. And how do we empower them? It's very important. I try to reinforce this with my wife constantly. Don't judge me by what I say first, right? Give me some grace, because what I said first is probably coming out like a mess. You probably didn't understand it well. It's one of my big triggers is when people misinterpret what I say. But most of the time it's because I've said it incorrectly. They'll be like, oh my gosh, you're what? I'm like, no, that's not what I meant. You know, so that happens a lot. You gotta help them communicate their ideas. Draw it out of them. Be like, hold on a second. What I heard you say is this. Is that what you meant? Brilliant question for a creative if you're talking to somebody that way. Or, hey, I'm not sure I quite follow you. Can you re-explain that for me? Another good prompt for a creative. Okay, just keep digging. It takes some patience. I'm telling y'all, it takes some patience, but it's okay. You'll love them at the end. I promise, right? I promise. We're great people, us creatives. Guardians, due diligence, resources, processes, spreadsheets, efficiencies, systems, all the stuff, okay? Deadlines, budgets, all the things. These are your guardians. Circle, X, or dash. They have relentless commitment to ask difficult questions. They will not hesitate to ask you questions. They don't care if you are the CEO or if you are an intern. They will ask you questions if they need an answer to that question. They will always seek to honor the past while teams look to the future. So these are very past-oriented. They want data. They want to understand what got us here. They want to understand what happened in the past so that we can inform our present. The future is nonsense to the Guardians. The future is like, I don't really care. It's not here yet. I can't touch it. I can't manipulate it. I'm not going to worry about it. It's risky. I'm not going to worry about the future. So they like the present. They accept as personal commitment to deliver projects on time, on budget. Guardians are they are the dependable, like, you give me a task, I'm going to get it done type of individuals, because that's their reputation is, I get it done. Okay? They walk around, they know they're like that. They know that they have a little bit of pride about like, yeah, I get crap done. You know, like, that's me. They have the ability to detach decision-making from personal sentiments. You could be my best friend, but I'm still going to tell you that you broke it and why you did all the things wrong. And then I want to go to lunch with you, okay? If you're a nurturer, if I'm with Farrah, and I'm going to be like, hey, maybe this is you, maybe it's not. But I'm going to be like, hey, yeah, that project you did on, yeah, it didn't work because of this. That thing you did, that wasn't right either. But cool, you want to go to lunch? And you're going to be like, no. Like, I need to recover. Like, that was kind of mean. Like, I mean, it wasn't mean. It was just, I was telling you the facts. And you're like, yeah, but you could have said it nicer. You know, and I'm like, okay. You know? So Guardians have a little bit of that. Like, I'm going to give it to you black and white because I think that that's how the world works, is in black and white. They're naturally risk averse. They are asking. So nurturers are saying, is this worth it? Like, have we thought about the team? Have we thought about what's going to happen, the impact on the team and the stress and what's going to happen to our team dynamic? The guardians are saying, is this really worth it? Is it worth the risk that we're going to take? Do we have the budget in place? Are the timelines set? What's our workload right now? And they're going to be looking at that. They respect logic, order systems, repeatable process. They love something that can be rubber stamped. They love the mold. They love like, bam, 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 just get the mold, just get the process, just run it through, run it through. We don't ever have to innovate anything, it works. They're like, it works great. Don't mess with it, okay? Challenges. Undermine their influence through this. Desire for truth and right decisions can override the feelings of others. Okay, again, they kind of say things in a cold way. It's not always the smoothest, but they're just saying. Sometimes they're accused of pouring cold water all over your ideas, right? They're that person. A lack of tone and tact can undermine the relationships and effectiveness with others. So how they say things. What they say is correct. How they say it is not necessarily correct. I have a leader that I'm working with right now. She works at a government utility, water utility in California. And she is a first voice guardian, second voice pioneer. And she says things to her team all the time that she's like, I'm just saying the thing. And I'm like, I know, but let's talk about how you said the thing. Because what's happening, I want you all to think about this. This is very important. Intent and impact. The intent of her words are not being heard because of the impact of her words. The impact overrides her intent. Her intent was really good. It was really good. She was trying to praise this person that never really gets any praise. And she was really going out of her way. She's trying to be intentional about praising this person because it doesn't come natural to her. So she's praising her in this public space, but she kind of undermined it by how she was saying it. And so the person came to me later and was like, yeah, I didn't appreciate that. And I'm like, oh my gosh, she was trying to praise you. And she's like, I know, but it was just, the way she said it was like embarrassing. And I'm like, the poor guardian pioneer. Like she's really trying and then just like backfires. So, all right, green, yellow, or red. And now discuss with your neighbor. Go.
No, we're very clear on this one.
There it is.
Like, eyes wide open.
There it is.
I'm like, the whole time you're talking, I was smiling.
Are you serious? No, this is so
Do you get stuff done?
I haven't found any.
I think I'm going to be.
There was an X, like I don't understand.
He described it as terms of like using data.
I was pretty tired.
How it's gonna come out of my mouth, but I don't know how else to.
There was a time we were playing a board game with my in-laws, like, and my mother-in-law calls me one day, 5 years later, and says, hey, let's go watch stuff. And she proceeded to give me an hour-long speech about how something I'd said played Scrabble and it hurt her feelings 5 years before. And I'm just beside myself, like, what in the hell are you talking about? I don't even remember. I'm like, you've held this for this many years. Like, why didn't you say something immediately? She's like, well, I didn't want to upset you. I'm like, no, it's just, we're playing, like, this is better, right? This, you harboring this and this uncomfortable. I said, I could not be more uncomfortable right now. So, well, one, I'm never playing a game with you again, ever. That was my favorite part.
Okay, 3, 2, 1.
You don't even remember what it was.
Hello, everybody. Yes, ma'am. What's your name?
Right now. It's like, am I being pranked?
Somya. Oh, hi. I knew a Somya. But
Hold on
hi.
just a minute.
Oh, here she comes. Winter is so excited you're about to talk. I don't know it.
Well, I mean, what should
What's
I
up?
talk? I'm almost green, except the last one, I guess, a little bit, but almost green.
Are you? Are you?
Yeah.
Pretty hardcore on this one? Which one did you not show up green on?
The last one, sometimes
Oh,
I
the
can,
last one.
the tone can be lacking, but I was never like rude. That's the thing. So that's why I put a dash
You
there. But
think you weren't.
I have never
Just
seen
kidding.
her rude, but I mean, so.
but most of them are all green. Like,
Just have a natural, easy tone or something.
yeah.
Yeah. So there is. So again, there's like nurture guardians. So guardian might be a second.
Yeah, I
voice, or
think
guardian nurturers.
nurturing, I'm yellow, so I'm like nurture guardian.
Oh, so guardian nurturers too. There's guardian nurturer too. So there is some of that that's in there. So good. Which one resonated with you the most?
The most is I have the ability to detach decision making from like personal sentiments, like, and also the commitment to deliver projects on time on budget.
That's
That is
you?
like on the top for me.
I only
I'm a
have to-
project manager, so I always try to.
Good. That's a good trait to have as a project manager. Nice. It's So if I give you some, I just have to ask you once.
That's it. I've been with the series in last 10 years. I think none of my projects were delayed.
Really? Congratulations.
Thank you.
Did you ever sleep?
Yeah.
How's your
But
self-care?
the first 4 years has been very stressful. I didn't sleep in the first 4 years. But when the COVID pandemic started, then I started sleeping.
It took a pandemic to get some sleep? That's a guardian for y'all. That's a guardian right there. How's your self-care?
Self-care.
Yeah. Do you take some time?
Like, yeah.
Self what?
So the first 3 years, no self-care. But once the pandemic struck, I started taking care of myself.
A pandemic. I love it. So that's really, okay, good. That's amazing. So thank you for sharing.
Thank you.
That's really good. Anybody else, like, who else was green on this one? Who else? Greens. Yeah? How about you? What's your name again? Kayvon. Okay. Holly, what resonated with you?
Being able to detach decisions.
Oh,
Yeah.
like what somebody was saying? Yeah.
And then my tone. Every time I say something, everybody's like, you could have said that in a much nicer voice. I'm just talking now.
Just saying it.
Yeah.
You know? Oh, I totally get it, man. That's awesome. Thanks for sharing. Really good. All right, who is not this person at all? Who is like the opposite of this? Who is like X's on a lot of these? Really? Okay, so I'm.
Yeah, thank you. I'm
What-
married to one. I'm
what-
married to you, Sonia.
What parts did not resonate with you?
The ones I had, the top three I had kind of at first lines, like
Yeah.
maybe this is a me thing. I think that may be a little bit more nurture and choice with what I have to do with my job. And then as it kept going, I'm like, no, I mean, I'm not, again, I'm married to one. I'm married to a high C, very much logic. And I'm the one saying, hey, you have 2 women in your household. Like, you could be a little bit more, like, show more emotions and stuff, especially with 2 female in the house. So the logic, order, repeatable processes, somebody else is going to take care of that. Like,
Yeah.
I don't have to be the one leading. Somebody else is going to take care of that. I don't have to be leading those efforts. So it's just never, I mean, I think they're valuable. It's just not something. My tone could probably be better at times, I will
Yeah.
say, depending on where I am in my balcony or basement and how
Yeah.
over capacity I am.
Okay.
And I'm sure he could suggest that too
Yeah.
at times. But
Well, thank you for owning that.
yeah,
It's very self-aware of you.
but like, I love data-driven decision-making and stuff, but I also love just, can we just try something? Like,
Yeah.
let's
Good.
get moving.
The what ifs.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah. That's really good to know. So again, guardian tasks, I will say, and we're going to go into this presentation a little bit in our next one too, but guardian tasks are seen as, we praise them a lot in our society, right, and culture as a whole. They're seen as things that are admirable. They're on time, on budget. They finish things a little bit earlier. It's very based on safety and non-risk. It's very like process oriented and things like that. So we like those things. They help our world run If we didn't have guardians in the world, it would be a problem, y'all. Like, it would be a big problem. And so that scene, and so a lot of us too, is this y'all's own company? You have your own company? It's not your own company? What role do you, what title or role are you?
You could say it's kind of his company. He's a shareholder of the firm.
Okay.
He's in engineering.
More sales.
Yeah, I've moved
You're
out
more
of
sales.
engineering into sales.
Okay, so sometimes, I was asking because sometimes I play a guardian on TV. I say that, right? So I'm a creative voice, first voice. Guardian is actually my 5th voice, y'all. So it's the most draining for me if I have to get too into details with it, but I can do it, and I've had to do it. So I've had my own company now for 15 years. So I've had to do guardian stuff, right? And so I've learned to do it. I'm also married to a connector wife who is not like any guardian stuff at all. So somebody has to do it. So I've learned to do it. I come from very guardian parents. So my nurture was very guardian. My brother is a mechanical engineer, went to Georgia Tech. He builds conveyor systems. Georgia Tech. So all my family's very guardian oriented. And so I grew up in that environment. So I can access it pretty well, you know? So it's a learned behavior for me. It's not my natural tendency. It will drain me if I have to do it too much. So something to think about. Okay? All right. Let's, 30% of the population, y'all, 30%. So can somebody add those numbers up for me? Y'all are in, like, some engineers that are in here, right? So 43, 9, and 30? 82%. 82% of people are potentially not heard, not understood, and not valued in your workplace culture. 8 out of 10 people possibly. Because the nurturers are busy letting everybody else talk. They're kind of sitting back like, no, use your idea. We'll just go with that, okay? Creatives are too busy thinking about it and not wanting to speak up because they're just like busy pondering. They're not ready yet. It's not perfect in their brain yet. And the guardians are like, hold up, I got to gather all the data. I'm going to get all the stuff first, and then I'll come and share some information. Meanwhile, the connectors and the pioneers, who we'll talk about next, are taking up all the oxygen in the room. Okay? They're the ones that are most visible. They're the most vocal. They're the ones bouncing around. They're the ones generating ideas and pushing things forward. And those are the people in our society that get seen, heard. We put the value in them. Oh, they're so outgoing. Oh, they got so many ideas. Oh, they love to win. Like all that personality type, we also see and recognize as valuable. We generally like to follow winners in here, right? Do we like to follow winners? Sure, we like to follow winners, but not at the expense of psychological safety, not at the expense of my well-being. Okay, I hope. So we're going to do this last slide and then take a break. Watch out for the fact that guardians are risk averse. They can be negative and bring excessive critique. Y'all have heard them. They're the ones that sit in the meeting. They're like, no, this why, no, this, no. Like every time you bring something up, they're like, no. And you're just like, oh my gosh, it's just an idea, man. You know, like chill. So you got that. And then we need to welcome, though, their challenging critique. Just because they ask the question doesn't mean they're saying no. They're just trying to seek clarity and understanding and feel safe with your crazy idea because they don't have any data on that thing yet. So sometimes it's just about answering the question, being patient and rolling along with it because they're there for a reason, okay? Yes?
Just that piggybacking off of that, isn't that somehow a little bit of, I'm sorry. Sorry, thank you. Just piggybacking off of that, isn't the trace of a creative person who inherently believe things can always be better, is that the kind of a drive for guardians to say, that doesn't work, because we can be better?
So I said guardian was my last voice. Mm-hmm. There's a reason, there's a system, okay? We have something in 5 voices. We don't talk about it in this workshop. There's like 5 other ones that I do with this. But there's a nemesis voice is what we call them. It's the person you just don't understand. You don't get. You don't really understand, and you clash with them. So creatives, out of the box ideas. Let's try this. What if we did this? Whoa, what do we like? So my brother, who is a Guardian first voice, and I are driving. We go to Myrtle Beach every year as a family, and we're driving through a parking garage, okay? And my brother, like years ago, he goes, "Oh, I get it. I get you now." He goes, "I'm driving around this parking garage thinking, these columns, they work. Like, they're spaced for a reason. They work well. We could just replicate this over and over again all the way down the strip, and it'll work out great." And I'm like, "Yeah." And he's like, "But you are like, what if we could make those columns thinner somehow? What if we use a different material? What if we could manufacture them differently? What if we space them just like a few inches apart? What would that do? And how can we like lessen the materials?" And like, you're always thinking about how to innovate and break the mold and maybe make it cheaper or faster to manufacture or produce or whatever. And he's like, "I'm just like, don't move the column. Like, the column is the column. The column looks fine where it is. Don't mess with the column." And then you're like, "No, let's move the column because maybe we could do this faster and better." So they clash naturally inside of a meeting. The creatives like breaking the mold, and the Guardians try to preserve the mold. So when you have conflicting priorities and ways of working, you get this. And that's what happens in your work environments, probably pretty often. Yeah? Thanks for bringing that up. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I guess something wrong with my head then.
No, there's nothing wrong with your head. Your head is beautiful. Your head is beautiful. Just the way it is. All right, y'all, take like a, come back in 7 minutes, so 15 after, all right? Come back in.
Good job, Scott.
Absolutely, you too.
Yeah, it's great. Keep it light and funny like you always do.
Is it?
Oh, yeah. These two are like, how are we going to hire him for the next thing? I'm like, he's out. Like, we use him for ACC all the time.
That's right. So what company are they with?
Kimley Holman. It's like just a big consulting firm. They're everywhere. Most of us are consultants. He's Gwinnett County. He's consultant. She's consultant.
Oh, you're in sales?
There's GDOT back there.
And most are engineers, so it'd be interesting to know how many Guardians we have.
I know. I'm interested too.
This is
That just is, I mean, the nature nurture, we all went into engineering because we thought that. But to see his eyes light up, I'm hoping I get a time highlight. Like, where I'm like, some of these I kind of do.
That was the
But
first
to
one.
watch
That was
him
the
on
first
this
one.
one, and I just kept looking at him, and he was like smiling every time he said something. Yes,
But
the
every
way he spoke
personality
to
is kind of
Vera,
like that.
Brad's like, yeah, I wish we got lunch, and Holly's like, lunch.
I would be like, I'm going to go cry in the car.
But not lunch, I have to eat.
Right.
I would just
Right.
yeah, think about this with a dog. When he was talking to her walking,
They're not people people in general. Like, if you really
Yeah.
think about the relationship. So we're gonna get to it later on the y'all gotta leave early. There's a thing on the
It doesn't work like that.
she's a perfectionist.
chemistry, so I call them the 4 C's.
She is closer to that, but she still needs her emotions. We're at 12 years old, and oh my gosh, the emotions are like unbelievable. And I'm just like, could you let her sit with emotions for a while?
So that could undermine your influence.
Like, I don't even understand my emotions, and I'm much older than her. And I'm so but like yesterday, she just has. And let me tell you, these girls between 10 and 12, their emotions know like, you just see them and they're always like, so even if they're friends, their emotions are already just, it's not just like, hey honey, you all are going through something stressful right now. Mommy doesn't understand. I'm such a and y'all have to see this. So y'all gonna handle that, yes, y'all gonna, like, some people are letting go of their Barbies and baby dolls before others, and they're like judging each other. The judgment's already started. Of course, yeah. Because they're changing. And it's just hard to understand, well, this is the way we've always done it. And baby dolls. shall see, never say never. And sure enough, we're right into, so then, hey, honey, if your kids need worries, baby dolls, oh God, they don't like worries. No, we're not there. Just waiting. Are we having another? Okay, I'm done. For maybe a. So you do have some good American dolls then on the hook? Oh, the ones with yes. And those are special. Oh yeah, no, how old is she? No, she might want grown up. I was gonna say she might grow up. Now, I haven't seen Lily, but Lily's also dyslexic. So how old's your little pink one? I mean, she's spiraling already. So it's like she's trying, and it's going to be great, but if you throw her off her schedule, she's going to, and then you have to prepare her for things, like just so she knows what environment she's about to go into. You have to kind of say, hey. So we asked her one time, say, hey, you got a test on Monday. Are you sure that test is not going to be on Monday? She's like, no, mommy, the teacher told us that if we get the ice down on Monday, I'm actually going to move it to Tuesday. No, it's going to be on that day. We come back on Tuesday. Oh no, she made a 0 this year. Because she went to the quiz knowing certainly correct, and so she circled everything based on that material that she thought the quiz was on, and so it was a full 0. Which was good because I asked this state guy, she made a 0. Cannot do 0 so they have to retake it to get some sort of credit. So if she would make like a 10, she would have a 10. She could at least potentially make a 15 if she makes her 15. They'll give her 15. But she was, I said, and I had to tell her, I said, hey, I'm worried about, because when she got in the car, we had already when she got in the car, she said, Mommy, I got something to tell you. Something that you're supposed to do. And she's like, yeah, I'm not having to say that. But I'm looking forward to you telling me what's going on. And she told me, and I said, we had this discussion. You were thrown off your schedule. You can do better next time. You make mistakes. So I said, let's make sure we try not to make that mistake. I said, this is what you said. He's right. He said, this next she's going to be upset. I said, I said, hey, we talked about it. He's like, is she upset with herself? Sure enough, as soon as he gets in the house, he is ready to provide logic, facts. You should have attended the classroom. You should have done that. And I'm like, I finally have to come out, because she has a quiz to study for and 3 tests. And I said, hey guys, can we zip this up right now? Hey Brad, she's upset with herself. We absolutely all do better. We all make it like I'm worse. So I'm sitting here like, I need to like her stuff. That's what we got to do. Like, but it is, he's ready to say, like, and I think he's just, could I remember how to
Yeah, that's what I want to be again, okay?
things move forward. And it's more time to go on stage. She's even learning. I want to be tentative, but I can't. Like, I'm pretty jaded. Like, sometimes I just, you shut those emotions, you're like, oh, that's not okay. So it is. It's this constant. So yeah, I don't know if I'm ever going to figure out what I am. We'll see if I'm connector.
We pushed 2 more times.
Or pioneer. But now I'm questioning if I'm an introvert or an extrovert.
All right, man. Good times. Yes, sir.
I take myself to the I do. Before you all knew me, you got to know this. Like Brad said, you would not have gone to even to this day, I would not have played. I will say, I am talking though about me, Casey, and back-to-back teams meetings. It's good. I want to come join you. Like, come in here, come join my team. So, you know. That's what I feel. That's what I feel. That's not
All right, bring it back. Here we go. Everybody turn to the connector page. These are our, we call the connectors the Tiggers of the 5 voices, okay? Bouncy, cuddly, want to hug everybody. Relational networks, internal collaborators, they're effective communicators. I got a lot of wife stories I'll share with you in just a second. So they're persuasive, inspirational communicators. They can generally stand in front of a room and just like spout it out, and then by the end, like everybody's like, I'm in. Like whatever you said, I'm there. Like I'm sold. If it's a nonprofit, I'm giving you all my money. Like connectors have that persuasiveness. Highly effective at rallying people to causes that they believe in. I want to make sure you know this is not the used car salesman, okay? It's very important you know that, because they're really good at selling people, but they sell you on things they believe in, okay? That it's a genuine thing that they have. They are the I got a guy person. Y'all know this person? Mm-hmm. It's like, hey, I got this problem. They're like, oh, I got a guy. You know, like, oh, I'm gonna connect you with Richard, or oh, I'm gonna show you this website, or you gotta try out this pair of shoes, or I got this new recipe, or hey, this restaurant down the street, it's so good, you know, and like you're like, okay, I got you. So it's that person. They really believe in the thing because it's brought them joy. It's brought them some reward in their life, and they want to share it with you, in hopes that it will also bring joy to your life. Incredibly resourceful. Whatever you need, I have it. I've got a source. They have the capacity to maintain large number of relationships. So, you know, you could be 45 years old and see somebody from high school in the grocery store, and they are still your best friend. Like my wife, we're walking down the aisle, and there's somebody like 12 aisles down. And she's like, bam! Like, hugging, like, I haven't seen you, it's so good to see you. You know, it's like, I'm like this. I can see my brother in the grocery store in the next aisle over, and I'm like, dude, I just want to get my eggs, you know? Like, don't talk to me. So it's kind of like that connection, it's that energy they get from that relational network that they have. Because, again, the relational network is a resource. It is a valuable piece of their arsenal. They can use their resources to help other people. And so it's not ingenuine, it's just part of the way they work. And it's subconscious. They're not going, if I build a network, people will like me. It's not that, okay? They know how to connect the people with their aspirations. If you sit with a connector, they want nothing more than to help you solve your problem through one of their resources. They love it. They're like, oh, tell me about all your hopes and your dreams. What do you want to achieve in life? Where do you want to go? What do you want to do? Yes, I believe in you. You can do that, and I'm going to help you get there. Like, that is their dream. And then once they get there, we hope we get there together, and then they need a little bit of recognition. They need a little bit of like, thank you so much for that. And they're like, I know, you're welcome. It feels so good, right? Like, they're genuinely happy for you and the thing that happened together. They're natural collaborators. They want to collaborate. They want synergy. They want all the stuff, okay? Now, they do need appreciation. They do like, are you aware of what I've done, y'all? Like, the worst thing for a connector is when somebody takes credit for their work, or when somebody's just like, oh my gosh, me and my husband, we met, it was so great, and blah, 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 and the person that introduced you is in the background and never gets mentioned in that sentence. They want to go, I did that, y'all. That was me. They just need a little bit of that, okay? Because it validates their existence. Right. Their existence is built around helping you achieve a dream through a resource or a connection they made. And when you can validate them through their existence and the things they do, it helps them feel good about who they are. And that's okay, okay? That's really good. Their people-pleasing tendencies mean they struggle to bring effective challenge. So they like to be liked. Connectors really like to be liked because it helps them build a relational network. And they want to help you do that. And so they're going to say yes to everybody all the time. Yes, I can help you. Yes, I want to help you. Yes, oh, I get to help you. Yes, you too. You too. Like, and then by the time they've said yes to everybody, they go home and go, oh no, what did I just do? Because now I have no time. I don't know how I'm going to fix this. I don't know how I'm going to do it all. And then they go hide in the corner and freak out. And nobody knows where they are. Okay? So the overcommitting is a huge symptom of a connector. Also nurturers, but for different reasons, okay? They often struggle to hear and engage with critical feedback. Connectors, they will go, oh man, I got this restaurant down the street. You should go check it out, okay? It's this new sushi restaurant. Go check it out. And then you go to the sushi restaurant and you come back and they go, hey, how was it? They're like waiting. And you go, I mean, it was all right. It was pretty good. I mean, I don't know. The other one I had one last week was really good. You should try that. And they're going, wait. What did you order? And you're like, I mean, I got this. You're like, and they're like, oh, that's why. You shouldn't have ordered that. Or maybe the chef was off that night. Maybe you should why don't you go with me? I'll show you what to get on the thing. Like, there's no way their idea was bad, is what I'm saying here. They get defensive easily. It kind of comes around to like, this isn't because I gave you a wrong suggestion. It's because you probably did something wrong. That's the way it is for a connector, okay? Because their existence is validated through them being the no person. Like, I'm a professional, I'm competent, I know what to refer you to. And then if you come back and say, yeah, that wasn't so good, it invalidates who they are. It's an identity thing for a connector. So that's really, really important. All right, so circle, X, or dash. All right, and go. You know what to do next. Pair up.
So Winter, this was me.
This
was
was
circle,
you?
circle, circle,
I
circle,
think I'm
circle.
close to this.
This is what you gotta be careful with.
Me and Kate were. Oh wow. What were you saying? All the X's?
Thanks, buddy.
This guy.
Somebody has to be wrong. It's the others.
No, that's what I'm saying. Thank you so much.
I had a lot of X's.
We can't all be wrong.
Aren't you supposed to be talking to me the way I need to be?
Oh, sorry. I thought we were all.
We're just grouping it.
No, I think this could be me. Now, interestingly enough, I don't know if this is a learning thing, and this is why I'm having an identity crisis maybe right now, Holly.
The first ITS or
Yeah. So what I am finding is that I so want to connect people, and I so want to not connect, and I so want to like find solutions for people with my resources and stuff. But then I've also been burned so many times of the sushi thing. Well, I didn't really like it, and it's like so now I'm like, okay, I'm a little bit more hesitant. I'm a little bit more like timid. Yeah, timid about saying, hey, I want to connect you, but I'm just.
But I don't know if you like sushi.
But I don't know if I don't know if you're gonna like it. Like, so now I think I might be having an identity crisis.
You're
of
gonna
like,
change your name to Summer after this training.
More like my
Join
sister.
Ashy.
Oh, yeah. Tried that one way a long time ago. That was not my.
Listen, Winter,
That was not covered by
we're wine
titties.
drinkers, they're beer drinkers.
Thank you. Was that the problem?
Yes.
It was so many decades ago
So
when I tried
bloated.
Ashy, and I was like, this is not working for me. This is a lot, and I
Everybody
like a
drinks beer
lot.
and Ashy, right? None of you drink bourbon. They just drink beer.
They just drink beer.
That might be the
All of
problem.
them.
Absolutely.
That's the problem. We're bourbon wine
And
drinkers.
they can get drunk off of beer, which is also a whole other thing.
It's
like,
water.
Well, and it fills you up before you can ever get drunk. So I'm sitting here like, how are y'all even drunk right now?
Give her the mic.
Because they will be drunk. Oh yeah, please.
It's off.
Let's not get this.
We don't include them in our organizations anyways. I'm the only weird roadway one allowed. And plus I got out of that shit. Also, that made me itch seeing that on your computer. I love
So
sales.
he's got deadlines.
I love
So
sales.
Greg can appreciate that.
I have no deadlines, no direct reports.
This is a 300-acre site.
Are you
See,
still
and
doing
that's the thing.
civil?
This one right here, Holly, they are highly effective at rallying people to causes and things they believe in. So, whereas he wants to do the work, I'm like, no, I'm all for getting the work done.
I can't wait.
Okay, I cut that one a little bit shorter, but bring it back. 3, 2, 1.
Too many people in the car slows the car.
All right. Connectors, raise your hand with pure enthusiasm. Where are you? Yes. Yeah? Did that one resonate? That was pretty good. Maybe? Yes? No?
I did.
Green, yellow? Okay. Anybody else? Connectors? No?
Winter. I'm shocked.
Second?
Yes.
Second highest?
Shocked.
Opposite of you, though, right?
I'm definitely a connector nurturer. Oh no.
All right, so yes, we need to have some marital.
Well, here's this is why I talk to a lot of my leaders about this too. It's really, this is just Scott's theory, okay? But we're often married to they say opposites attract, right? But my whole theory is that when we're young, I don't know, sometimes it's the second marriage, and I get to that later. But in first marriages, we're like, oh, wow, you're interesting. You're different than me. Like, you challenge me, and you push me, and you make me uncomfortable. This is cool. Like, it's exciting. And then, like, 4 years later, you're like, you are so annoying. Like, why can't you just be a little more like me? Like, stop it, you know? So it gets to be like that. And then what I find in second and third marriages with some of the people that I coach is like they marry people more like them, like similar voices, as opposed to opposites, because they're like, I've done that before. I'm not doing that again, you know? So what happens?
Sounds like you and your wife are a little opposite.
So I'm a creative, she's a connector first voice, so we're both more future, kind of out of the box idea people.
So you connect on that.
Which means I have to play the guardian though. She says I play opposite Scott. She calls it opposite Scott. She's like, are you gonna play opposite Scott again? I'm like, sorry, you know, because I play the guardian card. Because she'll come, like we'll go on a walk around the neighborhood, and it's a mile loop, right? We go around the neighborhood, and she's like, oh, look over there, like, look, you know, she's like looking at all the yards and the house stuff. We get to our house, and what is she doing? She's going, ooh, like, we could do this. Like, what if we try this? What if we put some stairs in the front yard and landscape this down and do this over here, and we could paint the fence, and what if we got a new fence? We do all this stuff, and I'm going, what in the world? And so, what's my brain doing? How many more jobs do I gotta get? How many more clients? How much do I gotta charge? Like, how much, we have all these other projects that aren't done yet. And now you wanna start on all these other ones? Like, my brain is doing guardian stuff, okay? Because that's just the role I play at home. Like, I play one on TV at home, you know? And she's always like, you pour cold water all over my idea, Scott. You play opposite, Scott. I don't like it, you know? Because I crush your dreams. So I will tell all of you, if you are married to a connector, the best thing you can do is appreciate before you critique. Oh, that's an interesting idea. Tell me more about that. What's your name? Brad. Brad?
Yes, sir.
Winter, tell me more about that idea that I think is ridiculous. But no, tell me more about that idea.
He just told me, Winter, you need to watch out for that one.
Watch out for that one?
Watch out for this. You could absolutely fall into that trap. I'm like, thank you so much.
Watch out for being yourself. Winter.
Logic.
Oh my gosh. Okay, who is not connector at all? Like XXX? You? Yeah? Yeah? Ish? Yeah? Okay. All right, good, y'all. Listen, like, connectors on your team are like amazing because they help you grow. They help you connect. They help you explore. They help you like get the resources you need to do the things that you need to do and use that relational network to help you get the stuff done. Here's one thing. So my wife and I will walk around the neighborhood. I have a lot of walking stories. And she is scanning like this, hoping somebody will stare at her so she can say hi. Like, she just hopes somebody will make eye contact with her so she can go, hey, you know? I will walk by somebody on the sidewalk and I might go, like, maybe they'll get a nod from me, okay? And we got back to the house before I had explored a lot of this stuff. And we got back to the house and I was like, so what is it with you? Like, to me, creative voice, it seems inauthentic. It doesn't seem real. It kind of seems fake. Like, it seems like you're trying too hard. And she dropped a connector bomb. I call them connector bombs. She goes, Scott, you never know who you're going to need. And I was like, dang.
That's the futuristic too.
I was like, yeah. I was like, I'm going to, like, Christy, if she died in our house one day, all the neighbors would be like, I haven't seen Christy in 4 hours. Like, I wonder if she's okay. We should go check on her. I'll be dead for months. And people be like, Scott, who? Wait, that guy lived there? Like, that's what it's like with me. So again, people come to her all the time because she's that resource for people. She's been built up as that resource. People don't really come to me for anything. Unless they pay me, and then I'll like come. Yeah. So I'm just kidding. I do some stuff. All right, here we go. Connectors, y'all are 11% of the population. We can only tolerate 11% of you. Just kidding. No, we love you. We love you, connectors. Y'all are great. All right, connectors have a tendency to interpret challenge of their ideas as personal. This is very important, connectors, and somewhat nurturers as well. Because we might be critiquing just your idea. It doesn't mean we're critiquing you. Okay, that's something very important and for guardians talking to connectors or creatives, it's very important for you to maybe preface your communication with, this is not a critique at you. The idea, blah, 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 okay? This is not about you. Now, it's not saying they're not gonna take it personal still, but it's still something to consider, all right? And then let's give them space to share their ideas and passions because they have a lot of ideas. They're very passionate about those ideas. Let's give them a platform to use them. If you ever hear and see a quiet connector in your meetings not saying anything, that's a problem, okay? Because there's something there. They don't feel psychologically safe. They've been shut down in the past. So you've taught them that we don't value passion and ideas here. We value people that stay compliant and stay safe. So connectors don't feel like they have a place. And so I think that that's something we need to all watch out for, okay? Pioneers, our lovely cuddly pioneers, they're strategic visionaries, results focused, they love winning, they hate losing, and they are problem solvers. They go to bed thinking about problems, they wake up thinking about problems, they are problem solvers. If you want to get on the good side of a pioneer, you go up to them and you go, hey, I got a problem. And they're like, let's go. Like, we're gonna kill this together. You know, well, I'm gonna kill it and you can come along. Like, that's the way they are. All right, so pioneers, they approach life with an anything is possible attitude. They are built to conquer and they will figure out how to do that. Visioning and shaping a scalable future is always highest priority. They don't love being down on the battleground, like battlefield, like doing that stuff. They like to be up on the mountaintop and envisioning how we're gonna win the war. They love to see out in the future and in the past. They love to see all of things happening right now and how we're going to do the thing. Strategic military-like thinking makes them incredibly effective. They can align people and systems and processes and say, you, go here, you, here, go here, and you, you're on the bench. And then those people on the bench are like, well, why aren't we all involved? And he's like, because I don't need you right now. And they're like, well, that's insensitive. And you're like, I don't know. Is it? I just don't need you right now. I need you later. And so people will take that personally and think that pioneers are insensitive or jerks because they're not including everybody all the time. But their strategic brain says, I don't need you right now, so I'm not going to use you right now. And they're okay with that. Winning is a massive driver. They hate to give up. And they will drive everybody else to burnout if we aren't careful. They are go, 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 go. I had a little bit of this when I'm playing sports. I was coaching my son's soccer team when he was like 7. And, you know, a little kid came up to me and he was like, Coach Scott, can we get some water? And I was like, water? It had been like 55 minutes. And I was like, all right, you can go get some water. You got 30 seconds, you know? So it was that kind of burnout. Powerful communicators that use logic and rationale to provide an attractive, compelling vision of the future. They can tell you why and how we're going to win. They're very good at that. But we're going to get to a stat in just a second that I'll show you why people don't come along. The immature pioneer can often appear arrogant and me-focused. They are very competent, generally. They know what they want. They know how we're going to win. They've been thinking about this problem for 3 months, even though I haven't told you about it. They've been thinking about it and figuring it out, and they've got it figured out. Then they come into the meeting, and they go, all right, y'all, bam, 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 there, bam, 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 there, go, mic drop, done, go. And then they're out, and everybody's like, well, I mean, it was a good idea, but like, I have something to say. Like, no. I don't need any ideas. Like, I know it's going to work. Just go do what I say. And then you're like, okay, I guess we'll just go do what they say, right? And so people just think, well, they don't care. They're just, I'm just a pawn on their chessboard. They use me when they use me, and they don't when they don't. They quickly dismiss contributions of others. They appear not to be competent or experienced. One of the biggest triggers of a pioneer is your incompetence because it gets in the way of their vision. They want to conquer and win, and if you are jeopardizing that, you are not usable to me. You're not valuable, so I am going to put you over there, okay? And they're not going to be shy about it because their goal is to help us all have a job and all win and be profitable. That's their job. And sometimes it means making hard calls. And sometimes it means like, you know, I'm going to say things you may not like. Now, what I want everybody to understand is the 5 voices about you having permission to be who you're designed to be. I want you to have that permission to be who you are designed to be. It does not mean you have permission to be an a-hole. Like, I don't think you have permission to do that. I want you to have permission to be a healthy version of yourself to everybody else. Healthy pioneers are incredible. I just finished my coaching sessions with a Pioneer Creative president, female of a company. She is dynamite, y'all. Like, I was like gooping all over her yesterday, and she was gooping back, and we were just gooping together, and it was like so good because I said, you are one of those leaders that everybody deserves, right? A pioneer that is intentional about her behavior, and it's exhausting for her. By Friday afternoon, she is toast because she's been so intentional all week about her communication and about how she leads. That is powerful. And so I admired her for that. And I think that we all need to try to be a version of that. Pioneers get a bad rap because they're so visible that we know jerk pioneers. Like, y'all probably worked with a jerk pioneer boss, right? And you're like, ugh, that person sucks. Like, you know, like y'all have been with that person. They're easy to see. They're easy to spot, so they get a bad rap. Unhealthy nurturers are kind of hard to spot. Like, they fly under the radar. They bring us cookies, and they have all kinds of stuff, and they make us feel good. It takes us usually like 6 months to understand their passive aggressiveness and the way that they kind of undermine the team and how they do things or themselves, okay? So I talk about those two because they're nemesis voices, they're opposites. So that's why I put those two together. All right, green, yellow, red, go. All right, let's bring this one back. 3, 2, 1. All right, where are my pioneers? Raise it high in pride. Yes, ma'am. Okay. Who else? Gunner? Who else? Anybody else? Pioneer voice? Feel pretty strong about this one? Middle-ish? Okay. How about who is not pioneer? They're like, ugh, these people, they burn me. Yeah? 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 You were scared, Farrah. Raised your hand. You're like, I hope a pioneer doesn't see me. No, it's okay. That's fair. Okay, good. So what resonated with you?
The biggest thing was anything is possible and self-preservation. I'm real big on growing myself, but sometimes if I feel like I may want to grow with Justin here, but if Justin sorry, Justin. If Justin is not like on board with what I'm doing, I will drop Justin, but not be mean to him, but just kind of like distance myself. But I still want to see Justin win, but not at the expense of me.
I like it. Okay, is that a learned behavior?
I think I've always been like, anything is possible. Like, I think I take that approach like with my entire life. But I think I learned over time that sometimes people can kind of like bring you down, and you just kind of got to let them go, no matter how hard it is.
It sounds like you've learned to set up boundaries.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, and I think, and that's powerful, and I think we all need to learn to do that. Call them energy vampires, or people in our lives that like suck out the energy and life from us when we're around them. So, Justin, yeah, I'm just kidding. I'm just playing it. No, I think that's really valuable to think about, the anything possible thing. I mean, some connectors have a little bit of that. The creatives have a little bit of that too. So it's just thinking about how you process that, and what that drive, where that comes from, and what the point is at the end of the day. Right?
Yeah, I feel like with like some of my peers, like when we talk about like growing and elevating, like if you have conversations with them, they'll be like, "Oh, I'll never get there." Versus me, I'm like, I'm like 2 jobs away from there. You know what I'm saying? I'm 2 projects from that. So that's just kind of like my approach. I don't mind, being at the bottom, but eventually I want to grow. Like, I don't want to stay at the bottom. And I feel like everybody in here, if you've like grew, you have like some form of pioneering in you. Like, nobody really wants to stay in the same spot like forever. So it's one of those things where I think everybody is a pioneer. I just think you have to unlock it.
And you like winning.
Yeah.
Which that's what Greg likes.
I'm really big on winning. I'm competitive. Yeah, I'll walk away like, I lost this one, but at home I'm like, if I would have did this, I could have won. You know what I'm saying? So I'm big on that.
There's some leadership insights we'll get to in just a minute, where one of them is that like pioneers have to realize that winning is not the main motivator for all people. And pioneers are like, well, that's stupid. Like, what is then? Why are you even playing if you're not trying to win, My wife, when we first were dating, we were playing Monopoly with my brother, and me and my brother were like ruthless, right? And she's like, I am never playing with y'all ever again. This was so stupid, And so, like, she didn't really care, and she was not fun to play with. Now that she's perimenopausal, she is very into. I'm just kidding. She loves when I make her perimenopause jokes. Yes. Yeah.
Oh.
If you're thinking about your younger version.
No, I think there's a lot of changes from if I think of how I would have answered some of these 10 years ago, 15 years ago, versus how I'm answering them right now. And I think it's like how much of this, like how much of your voice actually does change as you get older, right? So how much of your voices, your 5 voices, how much of that changes just because of what stage you are in your life?
I would say that I will say that based on, Carl Jung and the Myers-Briggs science and things like that, that's what this is all based off of, that your general nature nurture does not change. But how you communicate, how you use it, whether you're intentional or accidental about it, more aware of it, and the choices you make later will cause you, like your natural tendencies are always going to kind of be there. For pioneers, for example, if you have a massive drive to like win and to do those things in life and to strategize and love to be on the mountaintop, you're not all of a sudden going to turn 40 and go, I love detail work. Like, this is so fun for me to be in spreadsheets all day. Like, that's pretty drastic. But I'm just saying that it generally doesn't change that much. You learn to adapt to your environment. I think as we get older, we learn what works and what doesn't. What helps us as social beings learn to be part of a tribe so that, our primitive brains understand that it's safe. Because if I'm part of a tribe, that means I can be fed and I have clothing and safety if enemies come. But if I don't assimilate, then I'm out. That means I'm vulnerable to things. So I think our brains are constantly trying to assimilate. So I think that's probably a little bit of what you might be experiencing. But I think that there are minor tweaks that people make throughout life. I just don't think it's going to be that drastic.
So I think the one thing you've mentioned is as we get older and as we go into different roles, we definitely have to start taking on a lot of these. But you just mentioned it about the person, the pioneer that is a phenomenal pioneer because she's intentional about how she approaches her team. But by the end of the week, she's drained.
Mm-hmm.
And it's because she's not really gotten to be focused on that winning mindset the whole time. She's had to focus on a team that needs her pioneer skills, but needs her to do it in a way that they can receive it. And so I think that's what, like, I'm struggling with this also, Mary, because I'm just a little bit far away from 25, and it's hard to remember back there. But for some of you who didn't know me at 25, like my husband laughs at me to this day. When he first met me, I would not set my doctor's appointments up. Hated setting up doctor's appointments. Like, absolutely not. Why would I do that? That is something that I still, to this day, I will do, but I do not want to do it. It is just like, I don't know, I may need to look into that and think about that a little bit more of why, but even like to this day, when I'm on back-to-back Teams meetings, I'm still meeting new people across the firm. I should be getting my energy filled and be filling up. It drains me. It's when I go on a trip for work that I can see people in person or come here to see you guys that I finally get energized. But most of the time, for most weeks, I'm in back-to-back Teams meetings. And that just drains me. And I don't know if that's something for me to be thinking about, but maybe it is us thinking about at the end of the week, what did you do, Mary, in these things specifically, and how are you feeling at the end of the week? Because right now I'm feeling pretty drained, and so I'm doing something outside my natural tendency that's draining me, I feel like.
Yeah,
and I don't know what that
we
is.
Call it our 70-30 principle. So I have about 60 tools I teach teams and leaders all over the world, frankly. And one's the 70-30 principle. 70% of the time we should be doing the things that give us strength, that are in our conscious or unconscious competence. So our first three voices, basically. And the last two, our fourth and fifth voices, we should be doing 30-ish% of the time, okay? We need to do them because we need to get better at them. And we're always going to have to do stuff we don't like to do, right? But we shouldn't be flipped. It shouldn't be 30-70. It shouldn't be 10-90, which I've seen some people. And I'm wondering why they're so burnt out, why they're disgruntled, why they're not motivated at work. It's because they hate it. They go to work every day doing the things they're not built to do. And then they wonder why they're exhausted every day. And I said, so your family's getting all your leftovers. Like, that's what they get. Your work gets some of your best, and then the rest, and then your family gets whatever comes rolling in the door at the end of the day. So I want us to be thinking about that, but thanks for bringing that up. I think it's something to be thinking about and to ponder. But your natural tendencies, those behaviors, a lot of your triggers, so a lot of the five voices. So when I do the other workshops too, it helps kind of discern. We talk about weapon systems, like what do we use that are triggers for us, and how do we handle stress and other things too. So all of those workshops help kind of refine this a little bit more, but so it's something to keep thinking about, right? So thanks for bringing that up. Where's my, I think my battery died, Ken. No, did it? Well, the laser works, but the button didn't work. Oh, you know what? It's not that. Sorry, my bad. All right, Ken, you're good, man. Give it up for Ken and Danny, y'all. Thank you for helping, y'all. All right, 7% of the population. We don't need more of them. They can conquer the world with 7% of them, okay? That's all we need. Pioneers. Pioneers, they lack sensitivity, can be unwilling to listen and perceived as arrogant if we're not careful. How do we empower them? Don't worry, they empower themselves. Just affirm their competence, okay? They don't need you. They know they're good, right? They know they're good. All right, here's what we do. We are getting short on time. So what I want you to do is I want you to kind of work through your voice order. I want you to put the most green in place 1, the most X's in the red in place 5, and then massage the middle 3. I will help you massage the voice order a little bit more. We can't have a full-on coaching session in here, obviously, but if you want to talk to me more about listen, y'all, I'm going to give you all this. If you want to contact me, there's a magic hanky in my sleeve. If you want to contact me after this to review your voice order, like, I will gift that to you, okay? Like, I'll give you some ways to contact me later. But y'all can reach out to me and I'll just do a 30-minute call with you, just kind of rehash your voice order, okay? That's a gift for anybody in here, all right? Okay, so go ahead and work through your voice order. Let me know if you have any questions.
Yeah, it was fun.
Take a few minutes to do that.
Mine actually like lined up perfect. Huh? No, mine lined up perfect. It was so easy.
I'm saying you'll have to do this with your husband. I don't know if y'all want the opposites attract. That's pretty much what he does. He's not like connected to passwords and guard, but I don't know. I mean,
And once you have it figured out, I have buttons. You guys can get a button for yourself. Or if you're like, buttons are so like not cool, or I'm not hip enough for a button, then you can use a sticker. I've got stickers too, okay? So you can have one of those.
And there's a lot of dessert and food left if you guys get hungry still. Greg, what were you?
Does anybody want me to look at their stuff real quick?
Yeah, I was very, very, like, mine went in, mine literally, like, mine went into, yeah, like, it was very, like, I hated this, I loved this was definitely green, yellow, this was definitely red, yellow, and this was yellow.
Oh yeah, mine had that.
Yeah, it was, I could easily put mine in. I fucking hated that one, it was all X's, I hated it so much, I was like, ew, no, we can give up. Go to the next one. Isn't he great though? Like, he's so good. Through ACC, yeah, we use him a lot through ACC. That's why I was like, this is something new that kind of like, it pertains to every level of leader. That's why I'm a little surprised that more people didn't send more people. It was $35. Maybe it was too early. It is so powerful for every level of leader. I mean, it's $4,000. But we didn't need it because we wanted to provide it for our members. But like honestly, I really thought that more people would. I think we just have to meet this very much. Coming off the holiday and like maybe if we did every level. We should have looked at the he's fun. I did a one-on-one with him after one of the mentoring sessions that I came to for ACC, and it was 30 minutes, and it was just like personal coaching, like career coaching, and it was just really like eye-opening on kind of how to prioritize what's important and like what you think about what's important and what's not that important.
like he gives you like those buckets to put stuff in, and then like the communal buckets are the ones that are like actually more important. And it's like, oh, I never even really thought about it that way. Like he just gave me a different way to think about things that I was stressed out about, and now I don't stress out about them. So I'm like, whatever. Yeah, it's cool.
Okay, y'all. Who feels pretty confident about your voice order? Yeah.
Oh, I absolutely do.
What do you, Holly?
Connector.
What? Oh,
Thanks, Winter.
Microphone police.
Strong connector. I hated Pioneer. So I was connector, nurturer, guardian, creative, Pioneer.
Okay. I'm going to tweak it. It's connector, creative, nurturer, guardian. Pioneer, guardian. That's
Okay.
probably how it'll go. There's 16 different types, and that's generally what it would be. So
Okay.
you're going to, unless, I will say, so did nurture and connector, were they pretty close?
This one was yeah, they were pretty close.
Because basically what I would say is you would flip these two.
Okay.
Nurture would be first and connector would be second. So
Okay.
you'd be an extroverted nurturer.
That tracks.
Is basically what it would look like, okay? But it would be creative and then guardian pioneer.
I hated creative.
You did.
I didn't like it very much at all. Like creative and pioneer were tied for like the crappiest thing ever.
That is so sweet. Oh, okay.
Sorry.
No,
Back
that's
there,
cool.
G-Dot. Please stay on the board.
Well, then I would probably, even though it was crappy. Oh, actually, you know what? Leave it. Okay.
Okay.
Nurture, connector, guardian, creative, pioneer.
Okay.
Okay. So just switch those two, and that's what it is.
I can jump on board with that.
All right. So do that. I didn't just whatever. Okay, it's good. All right. Creative, nurture, guardian, pioneer, connector.
Does that work?
Not really, but it's pretty close.
These were close.
Creative.
Those were close. This
So
was way out there.
creative guardians. Well, actually, I'm going to say, is there any chance that guardian could be at the top, or no?
Not compared to creative.
No, is it creatives that are out there? It's out there because a creative is either going to have a pioneer after it or a connector after it, and those ended up at the bottom. So we need to talk because you broke it. No, that's good to think about though, because I want to understand a little bit more about why you answered it the way you did. Okay.
Are these two good? Like, we have to go to the horribles. Yeah.
All right, where are you? Guardian Creatives? Yeah. Okay.
Is that in an order that fits?
Yes, except I would. The connector is going to be last, and your pioneer is probably going to move up to third. So
Pioneer up and everything else shifts down?
Yeah, so Guardian Creatives are like, and Guardian Connectors are like these weird unicorns of the 5 voices. Yes, you're special. Because they're nemesis voices, right? So you have a Guardian and a Connector that are right next to each other in their Guardian and Creative that are their first 2 voices, which is kind of weird, right? So we don't see a lot of them because of the way that they operationalize things, but they're also like adrenaline junkies. Like they like the thrill of the problem and to solve it with like intellectual like exploration.
Is that why he got shingles at his age?
Yes.
I won't even call out his age. He's just really stressed out.
Yes.
He's just really stressed out. So
Dr.
maybe.
Waldron says yes.
All right, am I a normal person?
Connector, Creative, Nurture. No. You are.
Fit into?
So sensitive. I'm just.
I haven't noticed.
Brad, have you noticed any feelings with your wife at all?
But is this at a good, like,
Yeah,
is this one of your 12
it's solid.
orders?
It's one of my 16 orders.
Or 16 orders, sorry. I feel like
But
we
yeah,
have
that's
16
solid.
orders.
You got it. So if you look, we have a connector, creative, nurture, all right? And then a guardian creative. So we've got some creative similarities right there. But we have nurturer pioneers, they're third, but their guardian and connector are their first voices. So, nemesis voices, opposites attract. Work. Here's the beauty, y'all, about your nemesis voice, okay? I always, when I plot them, I put them catty-corner to each other on a chart to show like the dynamics of a team. Like, they just think differently, right? Winner is going to be more about people and values and about the future. Brad is going to be more about systems and logic and about the present. So naturally, they're going to clash because she's got ideas about the future and he has risk aversion issues and says, no, we got to look back at why this worked and why this didn't work, and why that probably won't work is because blah, 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 right? And so they just don't see eye to eye on certain things. Now, do y'all see the beauty in this?
I'm just glad they drove separate.
No, when we merge this, we are like unstoppable.
That's what I'm talking about. Y'all, when you merge them, there's magic. When you sync up, y'all, when you sync up with your nemesis voice on a team, when you bring your nemesis voice into the project with you, when you go to your nemesis voice and say, hey, I've got this idea. Like, Winner, she goes to Brad. She's like, Brad, I have this idea.
First, I have to tell him not to say no. Hey, I need you to not say no.
Don't say no yet. Very good. It's an idea. It's provisional. I say provisional plan promise. You say, this is all provisional. I have an idea, but I don't know how to make it work. How do you think we could make something like this work? Just dream with me for a second about how this could happen. Because maybe she's not a Hal person, but he's a Hal person. So when you start doing that, awesome. Brad could come to Winner and say, hey, I got this idea. How do you think we could push this? Right? And so she'll start thinking out of the box about, hey, maybe have you thought about this? What if we tried this? We could bring so-and-so in on this thing. We could do this, and possibly this thing idea too. So when you have that, that's awesome. Because if we have a bunch of winters in a room, we have 16 winners in a room, just like jamming on something, nothing will ever get done. Nothing. A great idea is we'll have whiteboards full of markers, like, but like, is anybody gonna like do any of this? You know? But then we have a bunch of Brads in the room too, and it's like, all right, status quo, just keeping it.
Columns where they were.
Keep the columns. Don't mess with the columns, y'all. When you can see the value in the other voices on your team, that's where the magic happens. What happens in our culture is that we get too wrapped up in why doesn't everybody think like me, and why can't I just get my ideas out? Why doesn't anybody listen to me? And it's because of influence, which we'll talk about later on today. Okay. Now, so anyway, any of y'all, please sync up with me if y'all want to talk over your voice order. That's a gift for all of you. Now, we're not going to have time to go over the last part of this, which is these leadership insights. These leadership insights are very, very powerful. This is your action item for today. This is your homework. I want you to go to your voice, whatever your first voice was, and I want you to find the page for you, the group for you. And if you're still trying to figure out your voice, another tip for Mary or anybody else that's trying to figure out your voice order, you read through these and you go, oh yeah, like there's a lot of these that resonate with me. That probably means you're a nurturer. If they don't resonate with you, if you're like, yeah, only 2 of those resonate with me, it probably means you're not a nurturer, all right? But if you're a nurturer, you should read those things and go, oh yeah, that one's real. Oh, that one hurts a little bit. Yeah, like I could work on that one. I could work on that one. That's how you know. So I want you to read through these insights, and I want you to pick one to work on. That's it. I want you to take action. Because here's what I say, everybody. Information is great, but without application, there's no transformation. So we've got to apply the things we learn. If you come here today and you're like, oh, yeah, that was interesting. That was good. That was cool. But you don't do anything with it, then okay. Like you got some information, but it didn't do anything for you. Now, granted, you're not going to change your life after one 2-hour session with me, but it will start to spark some inspiration, some awareness about who you are as a person and your identity. And I want you to own it. I want you to be proud of it. And I want you to use it to build influence, not undermine it, okay? So Thank you, everybody. We are going to take, oh goodness, let's take a 10-minute break, okay? Stretch your legs, and then we'll move into the next workshop. And the next one is going to be about fast starters, last minuters, and how we can work together, okay? So, AKA procrastinators and those people that start early. So, all right, so go take a break and come back in 8 minutes now. Sorry, I talked too long. 2:20. Let's go. Y'all, come get a pin if you want one, or a sticker.
A sticker.
I want to network with you later.
Why'd you break it?
You are.
Do it.
The woman I was talking about? Really? Okay, so that means this is not ITSGA at all. So this is.
This is definitely that. No,
It's definitely the
definitely. I'm a soldier. I'm not a man.
I tried to find a bigger one.
Okay, I'm a foot soldier. Then I'm a skeptical. You're INT check. Oh, I'm a medic. Yeah, it's here. Let me show you. Oh, here, all right. So I'll touch your hand.
Hey, you're a freaking creative engineer. Who is that? Never heard of her.
Connector, guardian, nurture. So Subi creative, connector, guardian, nurture. So those would flip. Now good. Okay. Now, guardian creative is what you do as well. But if the guardian creative is first, the pioneer would be third. And the nurturer, or your connector would be last.
What kind of personality is that then?
This is an ISTP. So this is an IS. This is an ISTP. If you flip those two. Okay. So the T's are right, the I's are right, the S in the N and the P and the K. Right? So do you live your life task deadline? Do you live your life very structured like this? Or are you like task deadline? Or are you like, oh, explore, let's go around here. Oh, my goodness. Okay. And then you get to the end and you're like, oh my gosh, deadline, and then fail. So you like to explore and delay and kind of think about things. So that would be a P. That's not a J. A J is very structured, very methodical, very timeline, very like, it's not guarding necessarily, it's very just very structured and how you do things. Now, S and N, are you like dream about the future? Do you like to think about the future? Or
Sometimes, but that doesn't make me really sleep on it.
Or are you more comfortable with like the present? You like to get your hands dirty and touch and tackle, go on. You like to manipulate the things in your immediate environment. Like can you brainstorm and do a whiteboard session with somebody like Winter for like 3 or 4 hours? Like on a whiteboard, just dream up possibilities and scenarios. And
I'll probably exhaust myself. That would be like freaking, it's not gonna be
that would get tiring for you.
Yes.
And you're like, okay, what are we gonna do? What are we gonna do?
Yeah, I need to build some questions. I need something to get my creativity going.
So that's more of an S than it is an N. The N love to sit on the mountaintop. They love to be up on the mountaintop and envision how we're going to win the war and know the future. And they don't get too involved in the people. The people are like, you know, they really like to be a fish. The present, the S's, the C's, they like to be like on the battlefield. They like to be with the people. Really?
Yeah.
So I would say it's this more than this. So now what I would do is just flip the connector and the pioneer. Because the guardians and connectors are nemesis forces. So that's generally what it is.
Yeah.
Okay. So I mean, it might take some massaging and some storytelling and whatever, but as an initial take, that's probably, you should try it on. I always tell people, just try it on. See how it feels, you know? As you go through this. Good? Cool.
The design is more when it comes to like actionable.
go grab it. Cool.
How you doing? What'd you come out with?
Because with
Good.
this, sometimes
Yeah.
in other meetings, my boss has been like, "You're too blunt with,
Okay.
and the way you know, it can be a little harsh sometimes."
Yeah.
So it's sort of like,
Well, if Guardian was first, then Connector would be last.
okay,
If Nurture is first, Pioneer is last.
okay.
You absolutely
So,
Pioneer is last.
yes.
Then Nurture is first.
Okay.
So this makes sense to me. My mom's a Nurture Guardian. There's more Nurture Guardians on the planet than anybody else because God was like, we need these people. So they're amazing. Like they want everybody to be taken care of and cared for, and in order they do it in an orderly fashion, very dependable, making sure that you know you're there. But self-care is a big problem for Nurture Guardians.
Absolutely.
Because everybody else comes first.
Sorry. No, mine's off. Mine's off. Are you sure?
No. It's not. Mine's. Yeah, this isn't on. I turned it off.
I just turned the box off. The box is off. It turned red. It was red. Okay.
We're troubleshooting.
You want this?
Yes.
Okay. So this is actually going to be the topic of my next book that I'm starting here at the end of February. So get ready for that. I'm really excited for it. I think there's a lot of people that I've been talking to lately that are struggling with this very topic. I want to kind of use you for some understanding while you think it resonates with you and what's going on with you as well.
Test.
Can we switch over the screen?
Yeah, sorry.
Test.
So for this one, just take notes on the back of your workbook or in your notebook.
Test,
I don't
test,
necessarily have a workbook for this.
test, test.
But I want you to do some thoughts. All right, so I want to introduce
Test,
you to
test.
perhaps
Test,
the,
test.
one of the greatest procrastinators
test.
of all time.
Test,
and
test.
This is Leonardo da Vinci. So Leonardo da Vinci, it took him, anybody know how long it took him to paint the Mona Lisa?
20 years.
16 years. Virgin on the Rocks. He had 7 months. He was given 7 months to finish Virgin on the Rocks. How long did it take him? 25 years. Okay? A little late. Guy probably died. But, I mean, it's fine. Despite living to the ripe old age of 67 years old, Leonardo da Vinci completed 15 paintings and like a handful of architectural designs. That's what he did. Now, he so much felt the weight of this that on his deathbed he said this: "I have offended God and mankind because my work did not reach the quality of it." That's heavy, right? That's heavy. Now, this doesn't sound like a man that was proud of his pastry. Eyebrows. People were debating, did he leave them off on purpose or did he just not finish? Because she doesn't have any eyebrows. And there's a lot of studies out there that are saying that, thanks, Danny. Oh wow, that's really sensitive. So there's a lot of people out there, that's crazy. Oh man, I feel like I'm in a stadium or in a bathroom. that one's weird. Yeah, it's like picking up. Oh, alien. Anyway, there's a debate about that, but they know that people use eyebrows. They had eyebrows back then, and they painted eyebrows back then, so people are like, yeah, that's probably the reason why some debate on that. Is that he just put them on there. So many of us feel like Da Vinci, right? How many of you feel like Da Vinci in the sense that you consider yourself a procrastinator? All right, how many of you are the people in the background there looking at the procrastinator going, oh my God. Go ahead, raise that in, Guardians. Mostly Guardians. Not all Guardians are like that. There are some Guardians that are not like that, okay? So I will probably say Brad is probably not necessarily like that person in a sense. They straddle the line a little bit. Okay, so there's that aspect of things too.
It's for the stream. So
Oh, okay. I'll clip that on. Got it. All right. So how many of you are maybe like Da Vinci, where you're staring at the people that can start and get it done and start early and crush through it, and you're wishing you were one of them? This is what prompted me to talk about this topic. Because as I'm working through stuff with my clients, I hear this, and it breaks my heart. Because what did I just talk to you about in the 5 voices? What was the point of that? To have permission to do what? To be who you are. To be who you were designed to be. Have permission to be that. And that means give yourself permission as well to be that thing. Excuse me, because there's some gifts. There's some gifts in those. Now, based on Myers-Briggs science, there's the P's and the J's, right? If y'all are familiar with Myers-Briggs, P's generally tend to be adaptive in the way they think. Perceivers is what we call them. Judgers are the ones that are a little bit more structured in how they think, okay? So I'm going to get into that in just a little bit here. But here's the real problem with all of this. The real problem is that most of what we call procrastination might not be procrastination. it might be process. And I want to kind of shift your thinking a little bit on this whole topic, because I think what we do in our society is that we label everything procrastination. You to think about is, my wife sent me this because it was kind of funny. She is diagnosed ADHD as well as my son, and she was like, "Oh my gosh, Scott, look at this." So it's called the ADHD leash. Anyway, I mean, some of us, we need this for work too. Like, we need this to stay focused on our task. It was a little ADHD humor from my wife. But there was something interesting that I think we all need to consider. This I thought was super interesting. Okay, so there is a psychiatrist, or a psychologist, a behavioral psychologist at the Anderson School of Management, at UCLA's Anderson School of Management. And he did an experiment. He put people in an fMRI machine. That is what analyzes your brain and sees activity that shows up on certain parts of your brain. And what he did is he had certain patients, and he put them in the fMRI machine, and he told them to think about their current self. How do you picture yourself in that? What kind of person are you? Are you funny or not? Do you tell certain jokes? How do you communicate? What do you look like? And all these things. A certain part of their brain lights up when they thought about their current self. Then he asked them to think about your future self. And he said, imagine, what are you going to be like? How are you going to talk? Who are you going to be married to, or how many kids are you going to have? Or what is going to be your career, or where do you think you're going to retire? Like all these things that were way future-oriented, thinking about themselves. And what happened was a different part of their brain lit up than the current part of their brain. And the interesting thing about this is that your brain is saying, your future self, that's a stranger. So when they showed them pictures or made them think of a stranger, that same part of their brain lit up that thinks about their future self. See what I'm saying? Future part and strangers are the same to your brain. So when we think about the future problems we're going to have because we're not doing the thing right now, we would rather sit on the couch and watch a Netflix show or eat popcorn than do that report. It's because you can't empathize with your future self. You don't feel bad for your future self because you're just like, it's a stranger and I don't necessarily care that much, right? Sorry. Some of us do care about strangers, some of us, most of us are like, it's not me. So I think there's an interesting aspect here to what your brain is doing when you're actually delaying situations. So I want you to understand that because the science can start to tell you a story about how your brain actually works, okay? Now, I want you to meet the styles. We're going to analyze both of these, and I want you to think about yourself, okay? We've got structured thinkers and adaptive thinkers. Structured thinkers, I feel calmer when there's a clear plan. Adaptive thinkers, I feel restricted when things are locked into early. Structured, I prefer to start early and chip away steadily. Adaptive, I build momentum near the end. Structured, I get anxious when I don't see visible progress. Adaptive, I do a lot of my thinking before I act. Structured, I like setting deadlines to stay on track. Adaptive, I prefer space to explore before I decide. Structured, I hate being surprised by last-minute changes. Adaptive, I often see better before we start. And the last one, structured, is I prefer a plan. Adaptive, I prefer exploration.
Is this built into you or can this change? Just so
I believe, like, it is built into you. I believe you learn to
back to that.
something else, okay? Because what happens is that we get burned by the adaptive thinkers, the ones that create a lot of stress at the end of a project and that maybe deliver not on time because they didn't have any structure. Because here's the thing about Da Vinci, y'all. The thing I want to bring up as well about the Da Vinci thing is that I think the biggest tragedy isn't that we didn't get more from him. I think the biggest tragedy is that he didn't have a team of people helping to hold him accountable. I think the biggest tragedy is that there was nobody there to monitor his process. There was nobody there to gather his creative genius. There was nobody there to turn his creative brilliance early. We honor those people. We're like, can't you be more like that? But we're missing out on some things. And we'll get to is I want you to turn your partner and I want you to talk about which one do you identify with most and why. All right? So here is the chart again. Go.
But is that a learn thing, or that's I see, this is, again, this is where I'm struggling with. I think I'm a structure thing, if I go back to what the but I think
This one's fully charged. There you go. Thank you, sir.
Okay, bring it back. 3, 2, 1. All right, structured thinkers, where are you? You believe you're structured the way you operate, you think. Okay? Adaptive thinkers, where are you? More adaptive? Cool. Beautiful, y'all.
Is there percentages on that?
The split is actually a little bit more structured than it is adaptive, but just like it's some science is 50-50, but that's just, I think, again, a cop-out. I think it's a little bit more structured than it is adaptive. Okay. So something to think about there. Now, structured thinkers, here's what they need, y'all. If you're working with a structured thinker, this is how you work well together. They need clear timelines. They need predictable workflow. They need status updates, and they need, space to start early. So give them that permission. That's okay. Permission, y'all. That's the big word. I don't want you to take away from that. Permission. Now, how do we work with them, those structured people? We don't ghost them. Okay? We is some rules of engagement. All right? Some rules of engagement that I think are really important. All right, adaptive thinkers, what do they need? Don't rush their process. Set the destination, not the roads to take. This is really important. You know what one of my favorite words is for my clients? They say to me all the time, micromanagement. People love that word. They're like, they're micromanaging me. Everybody's micromanaging me. I'm seen as a microman. Like, the micromanagement word gets thrown around so much now. It's crazy to me. Micromanagement is, here's the destination. This is what the outcome is. This is what we need from you. However you get that done, right? Micromanagement is, here's the destination. Here's what we need. I want you to follow this to get there. So it's a lack of autonomy. People want to feel free and like they have autonomy in a process. And when they don't feel that, they feel micromanagement, and rightly so. Now, there's reasons why micromanagement may exist. Maybe they've dropped the ball several times in the past. Maybe they're brand new to a job. I'm okay with a little bit of micromanagement in some of those cases. I say shorten the leash is what I say, right? It needs to be shorter. Don't let them run around in the backyard without a fence and then wonder like where they are, you know? So like keep them on a shorter leash if you need to. Define milestones and ask, this is a great question, what helps you move forward in a project like this? What can I do to make sure that you're continuing to move? What motivates you? What helps you move forward? So that's a good question to ask people too that are adaptive thinkers. All right, and how do we work with them? Give them the freedom to explore. Let's give them clear deadlines, not just like, hey, just checking in. Hey, just checking in. How's that going? Hey, check it. Hey, how's that? You know, like that. We don't do that, okay? Space before locking it in, and trust that thinking equals progress. Now, they need to exemplify this. They need to prove to you that that's what's happening, right? So in that, I think there's some really important points that you need to take out of that. Now, structured thinkers, any other advice you would give outside of this? Any of this resonate, or any of this kind of like, actually, this is kind of how I like to work?
Yeah.
Okay, what?
How I like to work.
How?
So like right now is with the city is more of like with the city of Sandy Springs, it's more of like I'm presented with the problem from the public, and my manager kind of gives me the leeway to explore the problem myself, like actually speak with the public, and after that process, she kind of meets with me to kind of discuss how do I want to approach it, and then if she don't really agree with that approach, she'll kind of critique it, if that makes sense. But yeah, I think it gives me the ability to create my own process without making the public upset or like messing anything up, as far as like with working with the public and keeping them happy.
Okay, so you're talking from an adaptive thinker standpoint, or from a structured?
Structured.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, yeah. I think, because she's more of an adaptive thinker. So when we work together, I think she wants to hear my process. And then, like before I execute it though,
Mhm.
like she don't really trust that my process is the right approach.
Mhm.
So it's more of like, to give her ease, we have to have a conversation and agree on the process. And
Okay.
then she lets me
Well, that sounds
do it
like
how I
teamwork,
wanna do it.
right? So I'm okay with that, as long as there's trust on either side. Okay, right? Adaptive thinkers, how do y'all like to work? Anybody want to speak up for this one? What do you want the structured thinkers to know? Yes.
We care.
You care. Why do you think they think you don't care?
Just because the way we operate. Again, it just resonates about the whole procrastination thing. I mean, you know, we're all professionals. This isn't our first rodeo, even if it's different jobs, right? We know what we can do. We know our capabilities, but we need to know. I mean, we need to use our strengths in a way that we can be able to perform them that satisfies us.
Yeah.
Because that's how you would know. You know, that's really just the end goal, right?
Mm-hmm.
That you give your best. You know that you give your best, and if you have that structured thinking, you know, kind of basically telling you this is what you need to do, boom, 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 it just presses our creative juices,
Yeah.
and not being out there.
Exactly. Right.
And that doesn't gonna help anybody at all.
Right. It helps them.
Yes.
So.
But again, that doesn't mean that it's the best thing.
Correct. It helps them feel comfortable with themselves
Right.
and
Exactly.
deliver on the team. So that makes sense. So thank you for sharing that. Yes.
I think what sometimes when you're with a lot of structured thinkers and something's behind,
Mm-hmm.
it's like, don't all come at me at once. Like it's kind of me responding to each one of you is taking away the time that I need to actually do this. There's a reason that it's happened, right? So it's like, it's one thing to have that check-in. It's okay, just as a reminder, or making sure that the status and that's there. But I think when everyone's on edge, it can be everyone at it, and it's like I just spent 20 minutes trying to respond to everybody.
Yeah.
And it's like I could have just been getting something done.
So give me the space, or report to one person and then they can tell everybody else.
Right.
It's like,
so it's kind
yeah.
of that. And I think it happens more when it is towards that kind of end deadline feeling. You're like,
Yeah.
well, this is the time I have to, like, I can get it done. Just give me a second to
The
breathe.
space.
That
Yeah.
space,
That's really good.
Like
Yeah.
that too, like me and my boss, I would say he's much more of a structured, I'm more of an adaptive. But what works for us is, like, he's been intentional to say to me, well, you give me a deadline. Like,
Good.
So like, you give me a deadline to give back to you. So it's like he's taking the deadlines and letting me set the deadline, but I'm also helping him by giving him a deadline.
So I encourage a lot of my leaders to do that, right? Like, at certain times, you need to set like a milestone of what needs to happen, but I need you to assign the checkpoints. Tell me when you're going to be checking in with me, and I'm going to tell you if that works for me or not. Okay? I don't have to be like, okay, I need to do stuff that makes me comfortable too. And so, daily check-ins, maybe necessary, maybe not, but I like that thought too. So thanks for bringing that up. Oh, wait. Okay, so what I wanted to talk about next is really this model that I built out to explain a little bit about how we take in information. So we've got intake of information, then what we call incubation of the idea, clarity about what the problem is, and then there's what I call the great leap from the inside work to the outside work. It's called the great leap. And then we move into momentum and delivery of that thing. Now, this is what adaptive thinkers are doing. They say, okay, I got it. Now I just need to process. Then incubation. There are a few ways this could go. And then clarity. I see. That's the real issue. And then momentum. Okay, here are all my thoughts. And then delivery is, whew, that actually came together pretty nicely. Now I'm toast, but that was amazing. Okay? This is what everybody else is thinking. Okay, intake. I gave them the info. Incubation, they're stalling. Clarity, why haven't they started yet? Momentum, wait, where did all this come from? Delivery, impressive, also mildly infuriating. Okay. What I want y'all to think about is this, what I call the misdiagnosis zone. And this is where a lot of the creative process work is happening. The invisible work, we call it. The invisible work is happening, but we in a culture, I believe, we reward visible work. We reward what we can see. Okay? And this is the problem, is because now we're calling everything procrastination. We just call this procrastination. And that word carries so much weight with it, and shame, and other things that are not productive for us as a culture. So that was interesting. This is actually how the brain of an adaptive person works, right? Intake, incubation, clarity, momentum, and delivery are a little bit shorter right there at the end. They spend a ton of time in intake, incubation, getting clarity on the idea, what the real problem is, asking questions, doing discovery, listening to podcasts, talking in groups, doing all kinds of stuff. And this is what the brain looks like of a structured person. Intake, incubation, clarity, got it, and then gradual momentum, delivery. We feel this in our teams. Y'all feel this? Same stages, different timing, same goal. This is so important for us to understand. So important. Your process is your process. It doesn't mean it has to be everybody's process. Because like I said, what's the split? 50-50-ish? You're going to work with other people that work differently than you. Work styles, it doesn't make you better. It doesn't make you worse. It's just what it is. The glory is about when we learn to work together in those work styles to help bring the project to fruition the best way possible. That's what needs to happen. Now I want you to think about which part of the momentum path, I'm just going to ask this as a group. We don't need to pair and share for a second. Which part of the momentum path do you spend the most time in? And where does your momentum usually kick in? So I'm going to come back to this, and I'll ask the room. Anybody want to share, where do you spend the most time, you feel like, when you have a new project and then you have to deliver on that thing? Where do you spend a lot of time?
Clarity, understanding,
Like, what does that look like for you?
investigating the whole problem. That can be with, like, I'm a traffic signal engineer, so that can be like from metrics, that can be from complaints, that can be from the particular area, that could be from if it's made it all the way to city council, it could be if the city manager is involved. It's a lot of moving parts, because if the city manager and council is involved, it's like priority one.
Yeah.
Versus if it's just some complaints that came through like our new city complaint system, if it's not a lot of complaints, then it'll be like priority 10. But Sandy Springs is driven by like a lot of money, so it's like the residents like hold a lot of weight. So it's more of like understanding what it is that they're complaining about and what it is that they're trying to accomplish. And then once you get clarity on that, everything else is pretty much smooth sailing.
Okay,
you know?
good. Well, I think so it's important for you, I think, to understand where you spend that time and what the value is at that time. Because some people may spend it in different areas of the momentum curve, and that's totally okay. It's got to be okay to spend your time there, making sure that we're diversified. Oh, this is fun. Okay, who's a structured thinker? Okay, Somya? Okay, read this to all of our adaptive friends, all right? Go.
Please don't wait until 9 p.m., the night before the deadline, to start sending the rapid fire emails about all the things we could do. We don't have creativity and brainstorming, we just want to know when it is going to show up. And if we ask for a plan, we are not trying to ruin your vibe. We just want to sleep. Oh, and by the way, when you say, trust me, it will come together. Winner, this is going to be a pure chaos. Listen, we like you, we just need a timeline. Yeah, that's me.
Is that you? Is that you, structured thinkers? You just want to sleep at night? Okay.
So what do
All
the
right.
adaptive thinkers think about that?
Okay. Yeah, what do the adaptive thinkers think about that?
That letter. I would like to know. That
What-
seems very logical. to
What do
me.
y'all think?
Very logical request to sleep at night. So, Mary, what?
Yeah, is that what you're doing?
I don't need you to reply right away. This is just when I had the idea, so I wanted to write
Yeah,
it as soon as I
right?
got it. I
That's
didn't
right.
lose it when I had the momentum. I'm sorry. You'll see it in the morning. I don't need an answer
I
right
have
now.
a question, like, what do they do all the time?
It was polite.
It was polite.
All the time? Why do they only work on the night before?
Because that was the night before another project.
Yeah. Duh.
We're focused on something.
All right. Where's an adaptive person? All right. Is it Annabelle?
Annabelle, yeah.
Annabelle? Okay. You get to read this one.
Dear structured thinkers, we know our brilliance shows up late, but please try not to panic. It's all part of the process. Asking for a plan too early is like yelling at bread to rise faster. We are thinking about it. We're just not ready to put it on paper yet. Oh, and that last minute magic, it's not luck. It's how our brains work. Listen, we like our plans and eagerness.
Your
to get
plans. We
started.
like your plans.
All right, okay. Like your plans and eagerness to get started. And yes, we want you to sleep as well. I mean, those bags under your eyes aren't going to fix themselves. We like you too. As much as it may surprise you, and as reluctant as I am to admit it, we need a timeline as well. Your pals, the adaptive thinkers.
You sold that well. That was
You
good.
did, you know.
I almost bought in.
You did. I know you did. I know you did.
I know that line that was highlighted. Why does their brain work only the night before?
Wait, is what?
Why does their brain work only the night
But
before?
it's not fully working the night before.
It's constant. Didn't you see my chart before?
I saw.
There's stuff going on. You just can't see it yet, Somya. It's there. I promise. Okay, so adaptive thinkers, y'all feel this? Structured thinkers, what do you think about it? Is it? Good. Good. I want, you know what we call that? We need a drink for sure. Well, we have one more session after this, so wait. Okay. We're going to need a little bit of sound on this next clip. Do we have sound? Okay, we can try. If we don't, then I'll just tell you what it does. I'll turn it up, and then we'll see if, it works. So in 1970, Apollo 13 happened. Was anybody alive? I'm just there's some alive people. Do y'all remember Apollo 13 when it happened? You were 5? Okay, anybody else? Apollo 13, so an oxygen tank on the space shuttle blew up, okay, in space when they were going to land on the moon. This was supposed to be the second mission for them to land on the moon, and this crew was up there. An oxygen tank exploded and sent all kinds of sensors off, and some real problems happened. And it was a mission to land on the moon. It became a rescue operation for these individuals. And it was a group of individuals like this and this guy. His name was Gene Kranz. Have y'all heard of Gene? Gene was a rock star, and I'm going to show you why. Okay, so Gene, so I'm going to show you a couple clips here. If they work, we'll see what happens. But let's see. This is from the Apollo 13 movie, if you've seen that.
From this moment on, we are improvising a new mission.
Oh, come on. Sorry, we'll get to the look at that.
How do we get our people home? They are here. Turn around, straight back, direct abort.
So we get them on a free return trajectory. It's the option with the fewest question marks for safety.
I agree with Jerry. Use the moon's gravity, slingshot them around.
No, the LEM will not support 3 guys for that amount of time.
It barely holds.
I mean, we've got to do a direct abort. We do an about face, we bring the guys right home right now.
Get them back soon, absolutely.
We don't even know if the Odyssey's engine's even working. There's been serious damage to this spacecraft.
They blow up and they die. That is not the argument. We're talking about time, not whether or not these guys... I'm not going to sugarcoat this for you.
Let's hold it down. Let's hold it down, people. The only engine we've got with enough power for direct abort is the SPS on the service module. Well, Lovell has told us it could have been damaged in an explosion, so let's consider that engine dead. We light that thing up, could blow the whole works. It's just too risky. We're not going to take that chance. In fact, the only thing the command module is good for is re-entry, so that leaves us with the LEM, which means free return trajectory. Once we get the guys around the moon, we'll fire up the LEM engine, make a long burn, pick up some speed, and get them home as quick as we can.
Gene, I'm wondering what the Grumman guys think about this.
We can't make any guarantees. We designed the LEM to land on the moon. Not fire the engine out there for course correction. Well, unfortunately, we're not landing on the moon, are we? I don't care what anything was designed to do. I care about what it can do.
Okay, so you hear the structured thinkers in there? You hear the adaptive thinkers in there? So when something doesn't go according to plan, this is where the structured thinkers' brains like short circuit. They don't know what to do because the plan got blown apart. And then the adaptive thinkers come in and they start thinking, well, we're not landing on the moon. We've got to figure out how we're going to do this thing with this thing that's supposed to land on the moon. Okay, so interesting thing there. Okay, let's talk about this next scene.
Power is everything. Without it, they don't talk to us, they don't correct their trajectory, they don't turn the heat shield around. We gotta turn everything off. Now. They're not gonna make it to re-entry.
What do you mean everything?
With everything on, the LEM draws 60 amps. At that rate, in 16 hours, the batteries are dead, not 45. And so's the crew. We gotta get them down to 12 amps. You can't run a vacuum cleaner on 12 amps, John. You gotta turn off the radars, cabin heater, instrument displays, the guidance computer, the whole smack.
Whoa, guidance computer? What if they need to do another
know the burn. Gene, they won't even know which way they're pointed.
The more time we talk down here, the more juice they waste up there. I've been looking at the data for the past hour.
That's the deal?
That's the deal.
Okay, John. And then we finish the burn, we'll power down the line.
All right.
Now, in the meantime, we're gonna have a frozen command module up there. In a couple days, we're gonna have to power it up using nothing but the re-entry batteries.
We've been tried before.
Hell, we've never even simulated it before, Gene. Well, we're gonna have to figure it out. I want people in our simulators working re-entry scenarios. I want you guys to find every engineer who designed every switch, every circuit, every transistor, and every light bulb that's up there. Then I want you to talk to the guy in the assembly line who actually built the thing. Find out how to squeeze every amp out of both of these goddamn machines. I want this mark all the way back to Earth with time to spare. We never lost an American in space. We're sure as hell not going to lose one on my watch. Failure is not an option.
Okay, so we heard the structured thinker guy come in with some data he had calculated. They are going to lose power. They're not going to survive. They have to power down everything, turn everything off. They basically existed in this freezing capsule, and it was drifting by moons and Earth's gravity to get them back. And that's the way that it all worked out. But the structured thinker brought some value to the conversation of adding in his insight of, hey, this is what we need to think about. This is how we need to approach this. And then Gene said, okay, we'll do that. That's what leaders do. That's what teammates do, is they consider the information and approach both sides in a way that brings harmony to the whole situation. It wasn't just these guys. It was everything that everybody did together to try to make that thing happen. And that is what saved those astronauts, is the teamwork that was both of them that made that thing happen, and they saved all three of those astronauts. That's incredible, and that's what teamwork can do when you think about how the structured and adaptive thinkers can process things together. Now, let's not deny the fact that both of these sides have a dark side. Okay? There is a dark side to both of these personality types. When adaptive thinkers become avoidant, they say things like, I just need space. Scott says I just need space. Right, Zal, you're going to use this now for ammunition. I get it, I know. It's avoiding decisions. It's blowing up deadlines. It's leaving others in the dark. This is what this behavior does. And adaptive thinkers do this because they don't want to be put in a box. They don't want accountability. They want to just freely act the way they want to act. Does anybody have teenagers? This is what it's like, right? It's like, don't put me in a box. I want to do what I want to do. I want to be independent. Or 3-year-olds, either one. Or 90-year-olds, parents, they act the same way. So you got that. Now, the other side of this is when structured becomes controlling. They just want a plan. We just need a plan, y'all. This becomes micromanagement. It kills momentum, and it overrides others' processes because their way is the best way. That's what happens on the other side. And this is what's toxic inside of teams, and this is what doesn't do us any good. Now, what's the cost of all this? Because you're like, Scott, okay, procrastination, shmashmation, strategic delay, whatever you want to call it, it's still a problem. And I say, yes, but I do believe the problem is what we do with our words and how we communicate the problem to other people. Amy Cuddy, do y'all know who Amy Cuddy? She's a Harvard professor who is a psychologist there, done a lot of beautiful work, but she talks about this idea of shame. And I feel like the word procrastination, when we label people as procrastinators or delayers all the time, there's a lot of shame that goes with that word and is carried with it. And it doesn't do us any favors, and she explains it.
Sometimes we get so frustrated with other people's bad behavior that we feel the urge to shame them into changing, into acting. And we feel justified in doing so, thinking that it's going to change their behavior in a positive way. But it doesn't work that way. Not only is shaming harmful, but it actually stops people from doing the very thing that you want them to do. Psychologically, shame is a threat response. So when someone's shamed, their brain goes into self-protection mode. Instead of focusing on fixing the problem, they focus on surviving that moment. That means shutting down, withdrawing, or avoiding the issue altogether. There's actual research research on this. A study by Keltner and Buswell found that when people feel shame, they don't immediately change their behavior. They retreat. They need time to recover before they can even think about taking action. So when you shame someone, you're not helping them to wake up or do better. You're just making it harder for them to act at all. If you actually want to change their behavior, give them room to process, reflect, and recover enough to then take action. You need to understand the reality of how people work, even if it frustrates you, before you can actually help them to change their minds and ultimately their behavior.
Okay. Has anybody been shamed before? How did that work out? How did that feel? Yeah, not good. Not good. And we do it in order to like light a fire under people. God, we got a lot of fire under that person constantly. And then what happens when you light a fire under somebody? It gets really hot and they go like this. It's hot over there. I'm going to move right here. Whew, I'm comfortable now. And then you're like, I got to light another fire under that person. Oh, it's hot right here now too. So I'm going to move over like this. And then you keep just getting compliance. So that's what happens when you shame, right? When you dominate, when you create fear tactics in people, what happens is you get compliance. You don't get engagement. And we want engagement. We want to lift people up, not push them down. So in our society, in our culture, we reward the early starters. We reward the idea of finishing early. And the last minuters, even though sometimes, I'll say, even when they do get the project done on time, there's a lot of pressure, a lot of push, a lot of shame, like, gosh, I wish you could have had that done a little bit earlier. Oh, it would have been nice if that was in there, like, by 1 o'clock today instead of 4:59. Like, just a lot of the shame that's thrown into that. And that is not how we need to build people up and help them and motivate them. We communicate. We communicate what we need to do better. This is called pace bias. Pace bias is the thing is actually when one type of working style becomes the standard for how everybody else is judged. That's pace bias. And we all have it in our culture and in our workplaces and in our homes. My way is the best way, and that is how I'm judging you, is based on this standard of how everything is done. And that is also a problem. We need to stop moralizing productivity. Productivity moralizing is horrible because productivity becomes a character trait by which we judge people. We start judging people on if you're a good or bad person based on how productive you are. And that's probably not how we should be doing this thing, right? It's not how we should be treating each other or the people we love or the people we work with. Now, let's talk about when the styles clash a bit. They're seen as a threat. Everybody is seen as a threat when our styles clash. You're a threat to my process. You're a threat to this project getting done. You're a threat to how we're going to operate in the future. Those things happen. So what do? We be transparent. So structured thinkers. Where's a structured thinker in here? Okay, Brad, read that for me.
Hey, I exit the room like a cannon and tend to get things done early.
Okay, so if you can be transparent about that at the beginning, in the meeting, in our kickoff meeting, hey, this is how I work, y'all. This is how I like to do things. Adaptive thinkers, where's one? Okay, Farrah?
Build momentum near the end.
All right, so she can be working with Brad, be like, hey, I like to build momentum near the end. That's where I'm going to come up with my brilliance. That's where all the things going to like crash and like bam. Now we need to work. How do we work together? How do we merge these styles? Because you're not going to shoot out of a cannon and get going. That's just not how you do. It's not how your brain works. And you.
Intermediate milestones.
Yes, that's what we need to do. The intermediate milestones. Coming up to Patrick and saying, hey, how do you? This is what we need. This is when we need it. We need some milestone check-ins. What do you feel comfortable with? What do you think you need? And even if it's an update on your thinking, I don't need necessarily the paper. I just need to know it's moving. That's all I need. I need to know you're progressing. I don't need you up here all the time. I need something. Okay? That's where we need to be, and that's what we need to do. We use shared timelines. We anchor around outcomes, and we allow flexible paths. Those three things. Use shared timelines, anchor around outcomes, and we use flexible paths in order to work together better. So let's let the structured people use logistics and sequencing, and let's let the adaptive thinkers, let's let them use creative direction and pivots when we need to. Let's put people in the appropriate seat, because sometimes people may be in the wrong seat. Maybe sometimes you're going, this person is such a problem. This person, they're so frustrating. Why aren't they motivated? Why aren't they doing their jobs well? Well, 70-30 principle might be one of those, but also this, maybe they're just doing the wrong thing. Maybe you have an adaptive thinker trying to do all the logistics and sequencing, and you're like, that person's not thriving. They're surviving, and we don't want to be that at work. We want to be thriving in the place where we are. Now, I'm going to skip this section for a second. I don't need teams to match. I need you to align. So I don't need y'all to match. I need you to align on what we're trying to accomplish. Keep the big picture in mind. Where are we going? What are we doing? How, and then how we plan on getting there together. That's what we need to be thinking about. I know some of you are thinking, but what if it's not strategic? What if it is procrastination? What if it is unintentional delay? How do we solve those problems? Because I was talking to my wife about this, because I'm using her as a lot of case studies right now. And she didn't work out the other day when she wanted to. And she came in, she knew I was working on some stuff, and she's like, Scott, like, I really intended to. Like, I intended to wake up this morning and go work out, and I wanted it to be the first thing I did because it helps me feel good about my day and all this stuff. But I didn't. And I got all this other stuff. Like, I put some of the clothes that you folded away, and I did this thing in the kitchen, and then I went over here and I finished a project. I sent an email for work, and like, she started doing all these things. And so we started talking about it, and I was like going, that's interesting. I wonder what is happening. So there's two models that I want you to think about and run through together. Okay? Number one, this is how you're going to figure things out, how you're going to filter out why somebody's not motivated, why somebody is delaying. I'm going to give you two formulas to figure this out. Number one is self-determination theory, SDT. All right? Self-determination theory. And this is all about this acronym CAR. I want you to write this down. SDT you can write down if you want to. You don't have to. CAR is more important, so I want you to write this down. CAR stands for competence, I can do this. Autonomy, I chose this. And relatedness, I care about this. So what I did is I asked her, so back up. The CAR method gets to like a root cause. That's like a behavioral like root cause of something happening in somebody's life. Why they're not motivated to do that thing. Competence, autonomy, relatedness. I asked her, okay, do you believe you can do this? Do you believe you have the capacity to right now go work out? Are you competent enough to work out? Do you know what you're going to do? She's like, well, I have a vague plan of what I was going to do, but I know I can work out. Like, that's not a problem. I've done it plenty of times in the past. I know I can do it. Okay, I said, fine. Autonomy. Are you choosing to work out, or is somebody else forcing you to work out? Like, I didn't force her to work out. I'm not that guy. But she's like, no, I mean, and I said, do you have autonomy to do what you want? Like, how to, when, like, she's like, yeah, I have full autonomy. I can do when I want. I can do what I want, and I'm choosing to work out. It's like, cool, you have autonomy. Relatedness. Do you care about this? Is it connected to a deeper cause? And she says, yes, because I want to be the type of person that works out. It's an identity thing, which is the correct way to set a goal. If y'all haven't heard that already, if you've read Atomic Habits, James Clear talks about that a lot, is put it to an identity. I want to be the type of person that gets up in the morning and works out. I said, cool. So it sounds like your car's pretty intact, although competence might be a little bit better if you had a structured plan. Like if your clothes were laid out the night before and if you had an exact plan of what you were going to do. Because her brain may be like, I don't know, I'm thinking about what I'm going to do, maybe not. So that could be contributing to the delay. Maybe. Okay? So we just put that out there. We said, okay, fine. Let's just keep it good. So you pass the CAR method. The second filter that you can run, if that one doesn't kind of come up with something, I use this one. It's a little bit more granular. It's a little bit more surface level. It's called temporal motivation theory. Temporal motivation theory. And Dr. Pierce came up with this one and studied a lot about this. He's done a lot of work in procrastination and motivation, and he came up with this idea. And a formula does this: value. How much do you value this thing? So it's a little bit of the relatedness aspect of the car. But how much do you value this thing? So it's high. It can be high or low. Okay? It's high. She values this thing quite a bit. Working out's very important to her. Expectancy. Do I believe I can succeed in this thing? It's pretty high, right? Now, it could be higher if the competency side was higher, like she had a plan and she had her clothes laid out. Like, do she believe she can succeed? Yeah, she feels pretty good about that. So that's pretty high. Her numerator is pretty high on this one. Now, when we go down here, delay. This is really interesting. We as human beings, the further things are from us, the less motivated we are to do that thing. We see them as like way far off. Again, it's that stranger thing of your brain that says, well, the reward is way far off. I can delay. I don't really need to worry about this thing right now. So I said, how far is your reward? And she says, well, I don't start seeing the results of this, like feeling good about it, or even with my body or anything like that, until like weeks or months. Like, so that reward for exercise is pretty far out. So she's thinking about it that way. I'm coming back to this in a second. Impulse. How many distractions am I battling? This is the last part. A ton. She has a ton of distractions. Okay? Ton of distractions. House stuff, laundry stuff, work stuff, like things she's thinking about in her head. And then people came to the door, and so she had to answer that. And a friend came and visited. And then like all these distractions pop up in her life. Okay? And then you've got social media that's distracting. And then you've got all these other things that are pulling our time, pulling our attention. So if you look at this, the numerator is pretty high, but the denominator is pretty low. So her distraction number is way up. Like the likelihood that she will complete her workout is not very high. And I could just tell from this formula. Because I sit there and I say, well, the delay is way off because you're thinking about, oh, the results of this are way far out. What if I said, okay, but this is where this is cool, y'all. This is what we're going to do. What can we change to create a better ratio? So I said, okay, so how can you create a more immediate reward? Because our brain wants immediate rewards, which is why unintentional delay happens. Because she's like, well, I just don't know why I went and did all these little things. Does anybody know why she went and did all those little things first?
Because it's immediate gratification.
Right. It's immediate dopamine hits for your brain. And for someone on ADHD, where dopamine doesn't flow through your brain as well as other people, you need more of a dopamine hit. So those little things are really rewarding. If I could do these little things and keep getting these little happiness factors, then that's really cool. They did some research study on cat videos, right? Why were cat videos so great for people that were procrastinating or delaying? It was because I didn't feel guilty anymore. That short-term dopamine hit and pleasure of looking at that funny video helped me not feel guilty about not finishing the thing. And we as humans want to feel good about ourselves. So I did that instead of feeling bad about myself. But then when I stopped watching the video, I just felt bad about myself all over again, right? So when you can use this as criteria for why you're not motivated, I can think about a more immediate reward. What's the more immediate reward you get from working out? And how can you lessen the distractions in your life? The likelihood of her working out is going to be much higher. Make sense? Anybody have any questions or thoughts about this? I'm just kind of playing with ideas right now. Like, does the CAR method or the TMT method like make sense to you? More so. Really?
I think it's only like both are really important. I think the TMT like is something that matters more if CAR's already been like if you already have those things.
Mm-hmm.
Right? But it's like it's kind of almost like foundational, right? Like if you don't have the competence, the autonomy, the relatedness on it, like this won't even matter because you won't even get to there.
Agreed.
Right? Like I think it's like it's like step A, step B. You're never gonna get to B if you like and you might use this, like, yeah, sure, it's like you might be distracted, but is it like, are you more easily distracted because you don't feel competent, like you don't actually have a sense of what this thing is, right? So
Mhm.
it's kind of I almost feel like it can relate, right? And if you don't have if you're not like if you don't have the competence for, just as an example,
Mhm.
right? That reward might be further away, actually.
True.
Right? Because now you not only do you have to like do the thing, now you have to build up the competence to do the thing.
Yep.
And so now you've added another step just to like get there, right? If you're assigned a thing and you don't have that autonomy, now you have to find your own motivation, right? So then that delay just gets so far away.
Yeah.
And the reward, right? Like that's part of that. So I think, but I do think you need to have those three things before like this even happens.
That's good. I like that. Anybody else have any thoughts on that?
I like this because you can kind of quantify it more. You know, there's an equation. You can kind of score it.
Says the Guardian.
If you're gonna throw numbers at it, I love it.
Yeah, man. I tried, dude, I broke this thing. My brain broke. I worked with chat for like an hour. No, like 6 hours on how to build an actual formula. I was plugging in numbers. I was getting formulas. And I'm not a Guardian, but my creative brain was like going, how could I do this? And it just didn't work. So now we just use high or low. It's not as numbery, but I don't know. I tried to use like scale of 1 to 10, and then percentages, and then it got all these decimals, and I don't know. Do what?
My brain's like, well, there's other ones, right? Because I was like, oh, well, this causes this, so I think it's actually more.
Yeah.
I think there's like
Yeah, I mean, I think, again, this is more surface level. This is a little bit more tactical. Car is really like, I think, it's more substance. It's more like, again, that autonomy piece is such a big deal in the car thing that and I see that a lot, when employees, when teams don't feel like they have autonomy to do something, they just feel like they're being dictated to all the time. That's where the micromanagement word comes into a lot of the people I'm working with. That's what causes a lot of problems. People just don't feel bought in. It's not theirs. You know, they can't own it. And people want to feel ownership of their work. So I think that's a real critical piece of it. And the relatedness of, am I connected to the people? Am I connected to the purpose? Is there a higher goal here and an ambition that I'm trying to reach? So I've started using this with my clients too a lot more. It's actually interesting. I had another client of mine that was talking to me about her workout routine, and it actually came down to the relatedness because she's trying to lose weight because they're doing IVF, and for her pregnancy, she wants to get pregnant, and she wanted to lose some weight and be healthier. And she didn't work out that morning, and she's like, gosh, I just don't know why, I just didn't feel like it. You know, I just kept hitting snooze for like an hour. And I was like, what about if you increase the relatedness? What if you took a picture of like you and your husband in front of the clinic and you pasted it like there on your bedstand next to your phone? Like you drove purpose behind why you're doing this thing. Like that might help a little. And she's like, that's, yeah, like that, you know? So it's a little bit of that we can help do to make sure that we accomplish the things we're trying. So you can use this to self-diagnose. You can use this to diagnose others of like, hey, why are we not moving? Why are we not rocking this thing yet? It's a good way to do it, okay? So there is, y'all can scan this. I have another, I have one more thing I'm going to share with you here at the end. Before I end this part of the presentation, I have a really short one to do afterwards. I'm going to talk about influence. But for this one, before we break, you can scan that code. I would love it, actually, if everybody, because I mean, has this helped you today so far? Has this been informational? So this helps me, y'all. If y'all can give me some feedback, it will really help me out. This will also give you the opportunity to work with me. I'm offering what I call a 5 Voices boot camp for everybody in this room. It's a team dynamics boot camp where you come, you bring as many people as you want. You get 90 minutes with me on a call, and we talk about the voices and the dynamics of the team and how they work together and where they clash, and brings everybody, kind of gives them a glimpse, kind of a taste of the 5 voices and what it could be and do for your team. It's great for team building, great for awareness of what communication can do for our team. It's a way to get me introduced to your team, and it's a way for you to benefit your team. If we keep working together, great. If we don't, that's great too. I've still served you. It's no cost. it's a way for me to serve you in this room. So you can sign up for that too using that link. But this is a way for me to get some feedback to know if I did well today or not. So please take a minute and fill that out. And you'll get some free resources for that too. Aha moment from this. Who's had an aha moment today from this session, from the early starters, last minuters? Anybody have any thoughts about this one? Excuse me, Holly.
I think it was good to kind of hear the other side of the story for the other thinkers, just to kind of picture what's going on in their brain and relate to that. You know what I mean? Just
Mm-hmm.
I did say that wasn't annoying.
Oh, good. Cool. Anybody else? Aha moments?
Well, yeah, typically we get reviews by our superiors, right? No matter what the timeline on that. But at times, even the reviewers need to be reviewed. And for like, the subordinates, like the employees, having this knowledge, you know how you're, be able to play your strengths and know and work on your weaknesses and be able to present that over to when they're doing reviews. It just helps you to be known, to be understood.
Mm-hmm.
And only if the leaders in our companies would be able to appreciate that and work themselves as well, then I think everybody's going to be great.
Yeah. How many of you want to feel understood and valued and appreciated and heard? That's what all of this is about. Owning your style, understanding your voice, but valuing and appreciating the people across the table from you too. Because if you want to feel that way, your colleagues want to feel that way too. But that's where the friction happens, is because one of the most important things for us in relationships is that we feel heard. And so when we're in arguments, we are constantly trying to get our point across, to feel understood and heard. And I dig myself a giant hole because as a creative, I already have a hard time getting like my ideas out really well. And so they get misunderstood, and my wife and I are like, going like this, and I just want to be heard and understood, but she just wants to be heard and understood too. And that's where the conflict happens. Instead of me just stopping and listening and hearing, instead of trying to be understood, right? You've heard that, right? Seek to understand before you seek to be understood. There's something powerful there, and that's what all of this is about. Anybody else aha moment from today?
I had one that I wrote down. It was the intent versus impact under Guardian.
Mm-hmm.
And communication, intent versus impact.
That's good.
You just stop before you're about to say something, and you're like, oh shoot, how's that going to come out? So
Or you can preface it and say, hey, the intent of what I'm about to say is there. The impact may override that, and I want to make sure that I go ahead and say that. Now, you can't say that and then just be a jerk, right, after you say it, right? It's like, but that preface, I think if we preface a lot of our communication with certain things, it would help a lot in what we're trying, because what it does is, number one, it signals that we're making an effort, but it signals that to ourselves too. Because after I say that, I better follow it up with some intentionality, right? So that's really good. Okay, there's one last little message I want to leave with you, and that is from my friend Leonardo da Vinci, and he has this to say.
Now, go. Be better. Be kinder. Build that future I only had time to doodle in my notebooks. The world is waiting. Don't keep it hanging like I did the Mona Lisa's eyebrows. Arrivederci, my friends.
Oh my gosh, my kids were so annoyed that I made a Sora video. Have y'all messed with Sora? No? You messed with it? Okay. Sora. So I'm Leonardo da Vinci. Just, I could make him say whatever I wanted him to say. So, but yeah, my kids were like, Dad, you didn't. My kids go to Second Year High School, which is an AI-based high school. So they're just like, AI, so annoying, Dad. I'm just like, okay, well, I made Leonardo da Vinci say something I wanted him to say, and that's pretty cool. So, no, but I think the point here of what I'm trying to say is that, Leonardo da Vinci, he was a genius, right? A visionary. Left brain, right brain, unicorn. He could do it all except when it came to finishing his work and finishing his projects. Structure isn't necessarily the enemy, y'all. It's uncoordinated chaos. And when there's no plan, there's chaos. And when there's a plan thrusted upon somebody else, there's chaos. What we want is not chaos. We want harmony, we want structure, we want alignment, we want good, healthy communication. And that comes when we understand our strengths, when we understand our identity and who we are, when we learn to love that thing. So I talk a lot about knowing yourself well, loving who you are, and leading yourself with intentionality. It takes all three of those things. I got to understand who I am. I got to love that thing, embrace it, and then I have to lead with intentionality, because that's where influence is built. When I lead with intentionality. Influence comes because people want to follow you. Influence doesn't come because they have to follow you. The people you have to follow, that's compliance. The people you get to follow, that's influence. And that is powerful. Every single one of you in this room have somebody in your life that has influenced you in a good way. Right? Do you remember that person? It could be a teacher, a mentor. It could have been a parent, a colleague, a boss. Does anybody? Do y'all have that person? I want you to think about how you can be that person for somebody else. When they're in some room, sitting in a chair, and some facilitator guy is asking them about who's influenced them in their life, they say your name. How many heads would pop up with your name? That's something. That's influence, y'all. And we all want it. So I'm really proud of y'all for hanging out with me. Thank you so much for being here today. If you want to talk more with me, that's some of my contact information. If you filled out the form, which I really hope you did, I will send out some follow-up emails to engage. If you want to, cool. If you don't, that's cool too. Check your spam folders. Sometimes they go to spam. But I do want to make sure I offer the thing. If you requested a boot camp or something else with me, I do want to make sure I continue to honor that for you and your team. Books, again, are up here. If you want to take advantage of those, then please do. And thank you, y'all. It's kind of pushing it. Thank you, Holly. So I decided, is that okay? So I didn't clear that. It was just like, with 20 minutes left. And they probably need a break.
How much time do you need for it?
Like probably 45 minutes. So I was like, I don't know. Should probably
How did I break it?
let it go. I don't know. How did you break it? How did you break it? Okay, what I want to know. Thanks, Brad. Okay. Yeah, man. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Good luck at the swim meet, man.
Thank
You gonna make it?
It's a 40-minute drive over.